All right, bonus live Sunday afternoon live stream. We're gonna kind of do a live peek in on the MLF Red Crest today, and got Brian since we had so much fun doing day 2
champion. Wait, didn't we didn't do championship day?
We did day 2, I think, of the classic, and we were too busy on Sunday. But that was a lot of fun. We thought we'd see what we could do here. And so here we are.
Yeah, let me blast.
Looks like there's plenty of people in here. I don't know. How do we sound? Let us know in the chat. We're a little late here. We went pregame on IG, and I'm a little discombobulated right now. But we'll do a peek in here in a second. I just need to get my screen set up properly. AJ's in the house. Actually, I think I might just do tab, share, screen. That way I can bounce around.
Yeah, I gotta.
And then we can see. All right, some ladies driving down the road, waving at Luke Clausen already. Things are happening.
Oh wow, that is great. That's what happens when you fish that riprap against the road. Everyone gets a good
Hank
view.
Sherry pattern here.
Yeah, get a good look at you. So that's awesome.
AJ gives us a thumbs up. Gary's saying we sound good.
Way to start a stream. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. What's up, Alan? Good afternoon, Backlash Pro. I love your name. Kyle Skaggs. Duffy's Boys. Duffy's Fishing. What's up? Hey, guys. So, yeah, we're just going to peek in, hang out. It's been interesting. Have you been watching it all during the day, Brian?
I have. So I've been watching it here and there, catching it where I can on my phone. I've been kind of running around a little bit, but while I've been driving around, I kind of have it on my little stand and I've been listening to it and whatnot. But yeah, no, I've been paying attention. It's actually it's been a fairly compelling tournament because everybody seems to be kind of divided up into two camps. You got the guys who seem to know this lake really well, like Edwin Evers, and has apparently really great waypoints. And he goes and sits out on this offshore, like wood, like this hard structure, and just target fishes all day. And then you got guys who don't know this lake from Adam, like Montgomery, who are just running the bank looking for anything. So you got guys.
He's looking for something. Montgomery's looking for very specific shallow pockets that had a little bit of water, now have a little more water. Was that a big drum? Yeah. That's disappointing. Yeah, and then so you kind of got the people that are running banks, and then you got the guys that are kind of more scoping, right? They're scoping jerkbaits. Like that seems to be the.
Ooh, I can pick comments. What? You gave me access to comments.
Got to turn that off.
Does Wheeler make a big run today? Wheeler can kind of make a run all the time, right? Like he's always a scary guy in a tournament. Like you never know.
We don't need to watch James Watson on a dirt track. We're gonna put that to the side for a minute.
I put that under rich guys doing rich guy stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Wheeler. The cool thing about this tournament is at this point it seems like it's a 6-horse race pretty much. Like literally any of those guys in the top 6 could figure out a way to close it.
Yeah. And I mean, if those weren't watching, Luke Clausen went from 0 fish in the first period, and now he's leading the tournament off the second period. So
when he led what day he led in the qualifying round, he did the same thing where he had a really great afternoon, late day bite. And he seems to not be able to figure out the morning, but like when it gets after lunch, then he seems to turn it on.
Yeah. So, and I guess the other what was interesting yesterday, Wheeler was about to be knocked out, and he caught 16 pounds in 18 minutes to get back into the cut.
Yeah, he got on a school and he just whacked the school for a while.
Yeah. That was, I mean, you got to know the guys that were in the other knockout round that already made it were watching or like following Score Tracker. I think they can't watch, but they can follow Score Tracker, I think.
Yeah, they're not allowed
they had to be thinking, sweet, Wheeler's not going to be in it tomorrow. They're like, and all of a sudden here he comes, and they're like, no, somebody stop him.
Oops, sorry, I got a little feedback. But yeah, no, you're right. 50s. It seems like he had a school that he knew about, or maybe the school wasn't fired up and he got him fired up. But yeah, he had some magic in his back pocket. That's for sure. So someone asked, what water temps are they fishing? That's a good question. I haven't caught that at all.
I'm pretty sure it's low 50s.
Low 50s?
Maybe mid 50s, but
and I don't know what the temperature is like in Oklahoma right now. It doesn't look great.
Julian says upper 40s, lower 50s.
Nice.
Yeah. But Mark Davis is easier to root for.
I'm one of these people where I don't really care who wins. Like, I'm not like, oh, I want this guy or this guy. I really don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I want to see them all have fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not emotionally invested into any of these guys personally. I mean, Edwin seems like the guy that everyone's scared of because he has the local knowledge, right? Like this lake is his kind of, apparently he knows this lake really well.
Yeah, well, he won a classic here.
Right.
Grew up in the area.
So it seems like Edwin's the guy that they're all worried about. Whoa.
Kim's question. Yeah, if we're just talking favorite way to catch them, frogs.
Yeah, everybody likes frog. Okay, what's your guys' all-time favorite bait? Not the one catching most of it. I think my all-time favorite bait, you might, you probably can't guess what my all-time favorite bait is.
Probably a small swim bait.
No. So going back, I started bass fishing when I was 15. Like that, I know. I mean, I fished earlier than 15, but when I got into like bass fishing specifically, and started to like learn it. I'm 41 now, so when I was 15, my go-to back then, and I still bust out all the time, is just a white spinnerbait. Like my all-time favorite bait that's caught me fish since I was 15 is just a simple white silver-bladed spinnerbait. Like I will always have one of those in my arsenal. I will always tie one on whenever I'm like not knowing what I should do. I'll just put on a white spinnerbait.
Jim says would have guessed Pop Max.
Yeah, I mean Pop Maxes are great, but I didn't start using a Pop Max until probably 6-7 years ago. But like if I had to go back through my whole life of fishing, it's definitely a spinnerbait. Like I've caught the most fish ever in my whole, like if I had to total it up, it'd just be a spinnerbait.
Excited to fish. If the timing works out when I can get out in Wisconsin at ice out with somebody that has a boat, yeah, I would be excited. We'll see.
I am counting the days until there's open water in Wisconsin. I will be over there right away. So I'm guessing we're not getting the warm up I thought we were going to get. We got kind of teased with like 50s and 60s, and now it's back cold again. So like, I don't think we're getting ice out anytime soon. I think it's going to be at least another like.
For those that don't live in Minnesota, in the metro, Connell hooked up on a jerk bait. We still have the really small ponds.
Looks like a scoreable.
Yeah, the real small ponds are open, but even most of the other ponds still have big chunks of ice in them, and the lakes are 95% still covered.
Oh yeah, there's still. I mean, I was talking to a guy last week, and there's still like 16 inches of ice on a lot of these lakes out here. Like the ice is starting to get soggy on the top, but there's a great base that's got to get melted down. Like there's still over a foot of ice in our neck of the woods. It ain't going anywhere yet. But you get a few hot days strung together, it melts quick. Like it doesn't take long to melt off.
We had those string of warm days like a week or two ago, right, when the ice was still 20 inches thick, and now we've got 30s and 40s, so it's like not happening fast at all now. And we're getting wind, but we don't have an open spot for the wind to like work. So that's the problem. Like
this fish gave up. Look at he had that fish upside down. That fish is like that could be a 2-pounder.
No, that's for sure. I was gonna say 212.
Yeah, definitely high 2s would probably be accurate.
I'm not gonna listen to the sound though, so
no.
We could maybe peek in on the sound ever so if we get the weight here.
Go ahead.
Oh, missed it.
Nice fish.
Putting the sound on just for Dustin. He loves Connell.
You know, Connell, I watched some of his videos on YouTube. I like the videos where he go out and like just fun fishes or does like little jackpots with like his family. You know what I mean? Like he has like one where he went out with like his brother or whatever. I don't know. Seems like a cool guy. What's funny is he was kind of on the up and up in bass, and then he left like right when he was starting to like.
Well, yeah, he was part of the large group. They all left at one point.
Right, but I'm saying like literally the year before he left bass is when he like blew up. He won a Bass Elite, right?
Yeah, he won on the Ross Barnett.
Which makes me wonder if he didn't win that one, would he have gotten invited over to MLF? Because it seems like he was on the come up. You know, like they say in like the entertainment or the sports world, they're on the come up. Like DC's stock was definitely like going up, and then he bailed and went.
There's your live look at the leaderboard. Connell just took over first with that fish.
Whoa! So that was bigger than 2 pounds.
He's catching a lower average size than some of the other guys, but he's got by far the greatest amount of numbers here.
So right now it looks like, yeah, that whole 15-pound and over club, you still have that top 6 are all in it, right? Like all top 6 could win. It's just crazy to me that these guys are out on the water.
Look at the massive crowds at the Red Crest Expo.
It's you know why there's not that many people there? Because that's the
I think that's a food line. That's why there's people there.
Look at all the high school kids with their jerseys. No, Texas A&M.
It's the that's college registration. That's what they're showing a line of. It's a college tournament registration line that they're showing.
Look at all these guys look the same. Look at them all. They all got the hats with the sunglasses on the top with the hair coming out the sides. Oh my gosh, they're all like
Bethel and McKendree. Those are 2 of the top colleges right there.
They're all clones. Do you see that? They all look the same.
Looks like they're about to go in with, was that Britt Myers? No, that's Jeff Sprague. Nope, Steve Browning. I was wrong. Steve Browning.
Let's see, what does he say? Time for those 6 to find 2 to 3 foot water on flats. We start moving up when the water hits 54, air temp 66. So yeah, oh wow, you're thinking the air temp's going to get up to 70 by the end?
Yeah, so he's predicting that, you know, if this is true, then somebody like Andy Montgomery could be poised to make a run here in the next hour or two. I guess it's just whether it will warm up enough before 4 o'clock for them fish to react. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all, Chris. That, you know, if, you know, walking with a sled, there's plenty of ice for people to be ice fishing. Will I be doing it? No. Well, I guess it was a 3.6, Dixon said.
Whoa, that's a big fish in this tournament. I like that they made the fish limit or the minimum is 2 pounds to score. I thought that was a smart move.
Yeah. The Smith Lake one is a 1.8. The thing is that they change it based on the tournament, but I don't feel like they do a good job. Like, so then they don't really like make that obvious on fantasy fishing. You have to like figure out what's the most scoreable minimum when you're trying to play their very complicated fantasy game.
So I take issue with people who go, oh, MLF's ratings are down. Bass or MLF, nobody publishes their ratings. It's all private. None of them release that data. So none of us know how many people. It could be 10,000 people or 1,000 people. No, like they never say it because they don't want to know. They want advertisers, like people on the back end, to know. Like, so if you're buying ad packages with either MLF or Bass, you're definitely going to get access to that viewership data, but they probably have that under NDA and lawyers make them everybody sign. Like, we'll never know how many people are truly, like how many eyeballs are actually watching any of this stuff. They will never reveal because it's a competitive edge that they all want to keep tight to the vest. So unless you're buying ad space on one of these tournaments, you ain't getting any information to that data. So it's all speculation. Like you could
except for when MLF puts out their press release touting how much they're getting, but then there's no way to validate that, right?
Point to a marketing filter, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, nobody.
They bring on the criticism by the way they.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. What's up, Canada? Halifax.
Yeah. Nice. I didn't see AJ. I'm not familiar with the team tournaments.
I didn't know they were doing team tournaments. That sounds kind of fun. I think there needs to be more team tournaments. You know why I think there needs to be more team tournaments? I think most people who fish tournaments fish team tournaments, right? Like, I'd say like the majority of people who tournament fish for fun are in team events. So I think having team events on TV.
Speaking of, what are we watching? Because this is a net. Are they talking about their team tournaments?
That is definitely.
This is clearly not Red Crest.
Although being a cameraman on a team tournament boat would be fun, because you better be wearing a life jacket because someone's going to knock you over into the water. You know what I'm saying? Like
we can enjoy both as anglers, Gramps, but what I'm saying is that sometimes the way MLF markets and takes shots at people and brags make you want to poke back at them, I guess.
Not that Bass doesn't do that either, though. Bass trolls MLF once in a while. I'm on team. I don't really care that much about professional fishing in general, so I'll watch both if I have time. Like I'm not even in Bass. Like I don't have a membership to any of these things. I don't particularly like have a deep passion for either brand. So whatever, I'm of the ilk of competition is good. Like in any industry, it doesn't matter if it's cars, pizza shops. It doesn't matter. Like competition makes everybody level their game up. So I think having a good competitor to Bass puts Bass on their heels and makes them do a better job. You know what I mean? Like competition is the American way. We have an open marketplace. If you want to be number one, do better than the other guy. You know what I mean? Like,
here's the thing, Gramps. It's fine. I don't expect Red Crest to be the classic, and I wouldn't compare it to them. But they keep doing it. They keep calling themselves the GOAT tournament and talking about how this is going to be the greatest tournament of all time and how this is the biggest event in bass fishing. If they wouldn't do that, I wouldn't compare it to the classic. But they keep doing it, and that's why, Gramps.
That's a fair point. But also they have to you got to believe in yourself, right? Like it's one of these things. Like you gotta trust your own brand and bet on yourself. So you're not going to be like, we're going to try our best. You're going to be like, we're going to kick ass. You know what I mean? Like,
but there's a fine line to that. And there's a way to do it without, I don't know. Cause it seems like you're just straight up lying and just like making stuff up. I guess I did see this. I think what you're talking about is where it was like a team of like Edwards and the Lanes.
That's cool.
Jordan Lee fishing against and they were like on the phone and they were like competing as like 4 boats or 3 boats in a team against the other team or something. I didn't realize that was something they plan on rolling out, or if that was just something they're doing as promotion for their BPT anglers.
Right.
One thing I want to mention is that for funsies today, I shook Dan down at Prior Lake and I made me give him a Nikko Kit, and I'm going to give this away today. Probably, let's say about 3:30. We don't want to do it right on top of the final 30 minutes, but before we get into 30 minutes, we'll probably give this away. So we'll have this drawing.
Everything in that bag is awesome. Like there's not a bad thing in that bag. Like that wacky tool is great.
We want to talk about what's in the bag?
Yeah, go through it.
So first, you get a good bag, which I use these all the time for storing stuff. I don't have one handy, but I got like a bag of these as my Neds, a bag of these as my Senko baits, a bag for my craws, a bag for my beavers, and like that's how I store stuff in my boat. So these are good. So what you get in the Nikko Kit, the prize of this for sure is their tube pliers, which you use to put on the bands to make Nikko worms, wacky rigs, and other things last longer.
So wait, put that back up real quick. So a lot of you guys so as most people know who've looked into these things, like these wacky tools have been around a long time. They're not wacky tools. Those are nasal surgery tools called a nasal spectellum. That's actually the medical name for that. So the guy who runs Arsenal, Dan Fabiano, one thing he did is he's like, well, everyone's buying these nasal spectellums for wacky tools. He kind of invented a better mousetrap. He took the regular old nasal spectellum and he made some improvements. To my favorite thing he did is the grip. He got these things dipped in a really nice, tacky, sticky grip. Because most of the nasal spectellums you buy are just all metal. So he put that nice grip on there, and he also replaced the spring, because you were showing that, right? Because a lot of nasal spectellums have a spring that can bend out. He doesn't have the spring in there. It's just like too.
Well, it's more instead of like a traditional spring, it's more like a leaf spring on a car, I guess.
Yeah. So yes, that tool is not like reinventing the wheel, but the guys at Arsenal's made some like nice improvements that aren't just.
And then you get 2 different kinds. He's got black bands in the 8mm, and then the smaller 4mm. So these are for nest worms. These are more for like Senkos. And then you put them on the center of your worm. Oh, checking on that. We're talking about important stuff right now. And that makes, and then you rig your hook through that, and it makes your wacky rigs last way longer. You should be able to just tap on that and bring that up. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I should have done that. Yeah, that's cool, man. No, I Nico rig. I know you try it. My partner Nico's all the time, and you pretty much, unless you want to go through a pack of worms, those are the stick baits.
Yeah. Nice. So this is the pack you get. It's kind of a good looking color. It's called Bama Shad Flash. It's almost like a golden shiner baby bass looking color. Actually, I've never seen this color before, and it makes me want to try these.
Yeah, that looks like it'd be good. Good around.
And then you get some tungsten nail weights. I think they call them the pagoda weights, maybe.
Yeah, they're just tungsten Nico nail weights. I use Arsenal's Nico weight. I mean, Nico weights are Nico weights. Everyone pretty much gets the tungsten.
I mean, if you got a real small worm, the tungsten's nice because it's small and compact. But otherwise, I don't think I'm getting more sensitivity out of my Nico rig by using a tungsten weight. But.
No, because if you use the lead ones and you shove it out into the worm, if you don't have, like, if you're using a smaller, thinner worm, they poke out the side. So yeah, having a tungsten is just better for those like smaller diameter trick worms and stuff. Who's this? This is Shira. No, who are we looking at? Right
Bobby Lane, I think.
Yeah, who's got the orange Phoenix?
Bobby Lane.
Okay. So he's a bank. Yeah, he's bank burning.
He's really been relying on a Fritz side.
Ooh.
Throwing a lot
of guys are cranking in this tournament. Cranking is definitely
so that kit goes for $50 and we're giving that away.
So Nico hook size, I say a 2 is a good go-to. I
guess I think one VMC Nico is like my normal, I think.
Yeah, no, 2's too small. I was thinking drop shot.
I think a number 1 or a 1/0, but not a number 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. A 1 or a 1/0 is kind of like the range you should be using for Nico hooks. Some Nico worms you can run a 2/0. I've ran 2/0 with like a wider, fatter worm. Even a Senko. If you're Nico rigging a Senko, you can definitely use a 2/0. I've done that before. But it's going to grab more grass and crap if you're dragging it through grass. But yeah, so I'd say 1/0 or 2 is kind of like where your Nico range should be.
Wheeler must have just caught a fish not too long ago. I don't think.
Oh, so Gramps is old school. Finishing nails. Everybody, like back before the fishing industry figured out you could make a ton of money selling people Nico weights, everybody used actual nails. So I call them nail weights. Like, everybody used just typical carpentry nails.
And I guess if you you can also grab that kit at Arsenal Fishing, and you can use the code HellaBass15 and grab that if you don't win it today. But I don't know if they don't carry the kits at. I think they carry them at Tackle Warehouse, but I don't think they carry them at Omnia.
Someone asked a good question. They said, do you like rings or bands better? They both do the same thing.
Well, actually, I think the bands are. I get more worms out of a band, I feel like. And the other thing I like about this, right? So, and why I like it, and it kind of depends on how you prefer to rig your. I'm looking for a hook here.
I use the band. I use the rings, the little O-rings for a while before the bands started coming out. Like for a while, all you had was the O-rings for wacky and Nicoing, and I used them for a long time. I never really had a problem.
Yeah, I think I got
the bands give you more options though because you can run the hook through the band. Is that what you're hinting at? Yeah.
Let me get a Nico style hook here.
Look at Wheeler's. Or not Wheeler. I'm sorry. Connell's working the jet ski.
I guess while we're talking about it, first of all, I don't really like this style hook anymore. These round, I feel like they skin hook them in the mouth and you lose fish. I only use these for practice, or if I go fishing with somebody like Brian and he doesn't have a hook, I give him one of these. I like I think somebody's got a good one on over at Cable
on the dock.
This O'Shaughnessy style Nico hook, and whether it's the VMC Nico or what the owner Sniper or the Mustad Titan.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. Oh, he's trying to get. We got to watch this.
Yeah,
he's got to get this fish out of this mess. This fish is in a.
This
is
good drama. Oh, he's got it over the cable, back towards himself. Now he's hand lining it,
trying to get around his fish. Don't grab the line.
He's grabbing the line, which is always dangerous. But this is.
That fish is close. It's close to the surface.
Yeah, he's trying to pull it back towards himself. See,
what a fucking mess! I know how he feels, man.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a big one.
There's a 4-pounder.
Might have to.
Look at the belly on that thing.
That might be 6.
Okay, Bobby Lane's going to be your new leader. That's definitely number 3.
Whew. Let me get my rod.
He's going to have to cut about 10 or 15 yards of line off his rod and retie. That's going to, let's see where he's at right now.
Are you kidding me? That's a 6.
They already put that one in, right?
Dingo.
That's what put him at 20 pounds.
3 ounces, 6 pounds, 3 ounces. Are you kidding me? We just hung us a haul. You talking about something?
I didn't hear what they said.
Me a little bit.
I think he said 6 pounds.
Are amazing. That is.
I think Connell just caught one though while he was doing that on Score Tracker.
Dude, the afternoon that now that the sun's out, that's
9 pounds in 10 minutes, guys.
So he's on a run.
Over 9 pounds.
He found some good docks, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder what he caught it on. I didn't see what he was working.
Oh, but jig maybe, but I'm not sure.
So that fish. Okay.
So go back to Ray's comment. This is what's happening.
Yeah, Ray. Yeah, that once the sun came out and it's baking that water. So what I noticed on that fish is how short it was. Like that was not a long fish.
That's like a Minnesota Leech Lake fish.
It was like all belly.
I got too many cams today. Probably not a big cam today.
Dude, can you imagine that stress of like trying, like he knew that was a big fish. And then he's like, couldn't get it out for like a couple minutes. That was pretty good.
Blues Brian that way. So yes, this style hook is what I like for. This is a 2-aught, so this is a little bigger than I would normally fish. But so if you're going to fish a ring, right, the only way to really rig it is to go under the ring with the worm like that. Oh, right. You got another one, or is that the fish before?
They're replaying.
It's a jig to your question. So I don't necessarily most of the time like rigging my Senkos stingers like this. I feel like sometimes the hook balls up, it gets weird. I don't get as good of hookups. I like to rig it through the band this way.
Yeah, through it. Yeah, you can't
like
do that
most of the time. It depends on the cover. Sometimes I'll do it different on a Nikko. Sometimes I'll rig it the other way. But it's just really robust. Now you can do this if you want to put multiple bands and crisscross them and things like that, but this is really the way I prefer, and I get way more strength out of it that way, and that's why I prefer the bands.
Right.
Connell's going to hook up on the one that's already logged on Score Tracker. This one, the Score Tracker updated while Lane was landing that other one.
He's shallow jerking right off the bank.
Yeah. He said earlier that like his comment was that normally he would crank, but the water is clearer than he would want to for cranking. So that's why he's throwing a jerkbait in 2 to 3 feet of water.
What's his jerkbait of choice? Was he Lucky Craft or a pointer? I forgot what jerkbait he was using last time he won one of these.
That's what I was trying to watch for it. Like I don't remember if he said he was using the Guggen Scout, but I don't feel like he's using the
No, he wasn't using the Scout. No.
Yeah, I got one shot yesterday morning, but I haven't started editing it yet. It's going to be about
this guy. Connell won the Red Crest last year with a jerkbait, I believe. I wonder what one he was using last year. Was it a MegaBass last year?
I don't remember what he said.
I'd have to go back and look at that.
Chris says MegaBass.
Should be easy to figure it out.
Gary, I guess, yeah, a number one or a 1-aught are my main 2 hook sizes. I think we talked about that. Yeah, the Nikko Kit's super handy. Like, I highly recommend it. And I think when you get to see it, like when I went to the Prior Lake thing last weekend, the swap meet, and Dan had his booth there and helped. And like, once you show people the kit, they're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Like, the thing is, like, the bands, right, and the kit for the bands and this, if you throw Senkos, like, it will pay for itself because you'll lose less worms.
So I'm going to drop a link, a Nico hook you can check out. So obviously the VMC Nikos everybody knows, but the owner sniper hook in like a 1/0 is probably a good starting point if you want to get a Nico hook.
To me, it's the VMC Nico, the owner sniper, and then there's a Mustad Titan. I like all of those. I've used the owner cover shot.
If I'm kind of in a little more open water and I don't need like super strength in the hook, I just want something really sharp, I'll use a 1/0 owner sniper. I'm sorry, owner cover shot is a decent Nico hook too.
Same style though. They're all that O'Shaughnessy small, thin, straight shank. You can Nico a trickworm. You can Nico a Yumdinger. You can
Nico anything. Yeah, you don't need a specific Nico bait. Like you can Nico a chickercraw, a beaver. You can there's no real limitation on what you can stick a weight into. Just a Senko. You can just use a regular everyday Senko, and that's a great Nico bait.
And as far as weights, like screws, old nails, the other thing I had some rusted jig heads at one time, or some really old, remember the old gopher or really cheap net heads, right? That have really flimsy hooks that bend out. You can just cut the hook and then make a little and shove it in the bottom of the worm, like the Z-Man. You can kind of make your own Nico weights pretty easy. Yeah. Well, the Omnia code is HB.
Oh, Wheeler's hooked up.
March 15, and then yours is really long. It's Brian punch fishing at 37 March 2022.
I tell you.
So there's Wheeler's hooked up. Yeah, things are firing. Dude, this is whether you're watching MLF or Bass, this is the one thing that you'll see, right? You'll go through these lulls. Almost the entire second period was a lull, except for Luke Clausen, and now everybody's catching them right now.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, dude. They're all in neck and neck. Now Wheeler's on top. Clausen, Connell, they hook up. They're gonna leapfrog.
And these guys are gonna these guys are best buds, but fierce competitors. They know they're gonna be fighting tooth and nail to have bragging rights in the house. This is a good tip, though. I've never thought about.
I've heard of this. Yeah. Where you hit it with a lighter at the end, real quick. Yeah, I've heard of this before. We shove the weight in. And then you take a lighter and just real quick to seal it up, and then the weight doesn't go anywhere. I don't do that personally because I don't really lose weights.
A few packs of the G Finesse Twist Free. I have not tried those.
Wait, G Twist Free.
I think those are the ones. They look like a Nico hook, but they've got a swivel, almost like what was the Rapala spin shot? I feel like it's kind of
spin shot.
Haven't played with them. Right. I do like the Arsenal gloves. I wore them all starting midsummer last year through the fall.
I have a pair.
I like them. And actually, I've got 2 pairs, and those will be future giveaways in the next couple of weeks. They're upstairs, though. So I'm sorry I can't go look at them. But I do like the Arsenal gloves, and I do recommend them. I like them both when it's cold out, just to kind of take that edge off. We don't want to wear a full glove. But then also they're good for sun protection.
Yeah, I wear gloves. I have a bunch of gloves, and sometimes I just forget to put them on. But when I do put them on, I have a bunch of pairs because gloves get kind of nasty after a day, right? Sweat and
I never wash mine. They stink to high heaven.
I usually have 3 or 4 pairs on my boat because I forget to wash them. So I'll take them out and I'll be like, oh, these are gross, and I go find a different pair. And then when I've gone through them all, then I wash them.
I don't mind. I figure if they have the stench of old fish smell, that's covering any scent I have.
That's just science. Oh, he's hooked up again.
Yeah, this is Gramps. Well said. It is going to be 90 minutes of crazy here.
You know what? This is
cool. Is Randy in the house? Say hi if you're in the house, Randy.
So I got to say, I like this format better when you're watching the final few hour or something. Because, okay, I got to say this real quick. So people go, the Bassmaster Classic's the Super Bowl of bass fishing. Can you imagine if the Super Bowl, they stopped the broadcast in the last 5 minutes of the game, Then they made all the players get in a bus, go to a stage on the other side of town. And then while that was happening, they played games. They had halftime show, dog and ponies, guys painting and singing and advertisements, and made everyone sit around and wait for an hour until the team made its way across the other side of town. And then they all got on stage, and then they revealed how many points they scored in the last 5 minutes, and then they figured out who won. Could you imagine that if that was in any other like sport? Like that, to me, that format is just ridiculous. Like, I like this format because when the clock ticks 0, you know who won $300,000, and you can just go about your day. Like, I can go do other stuff, and I like, okay, it's over. I saw who won. You get the instant reaction from the guy sitting on the water. Done and done. So to me, comparing the Classic to the Super Bowl or any kind of like large sporting event, to me is like fairly ridiculous, because the way they finished the Classic with the weigh-in is a flop. I think it's a terrible way to end the whole thing, because you're sitting around for like an hour and a half waiting for.
I think if you didn't have the gap, right? The problem is the gap.
Yeah, I agree.
But the problem is they like to have it at an expo, and it's hard to find an expo. Like next year in Knoxville, like the landing, the river, everything's there, so it should be a much tighter.
So, Rich, they could easily do it at the ramp, or like, right, you know what I mean? They could do weigh-in, but the problem is it doesn't appease the many, many, many sponsors that are bought into advertising at the Classic. That hour and a half of downtime gives them plenty of time to go through all of the stupid sponsors and all of, you know what I mean? It gives them like a captive audience who's sitting around waiting, and they can just shove advertisements down everybody's throat for an hour. It's so like off-putting to me. I don't mind weigh-ins. I don't mind waiting. I don't like waiting for an hour and a half and watch advertisements to get to the weigh-in. Like, just do the weigh-in. But anyway, that's why I think the ending of this is going to be cooler to watch someone win $300,000 when the clock's ticking down and they're all sweating.
Then the thing that's going to be weird about this is they're going to, like, I think they're doing a thing where they're going to have them show up at the expo center and do a stage thing after everybody knows what happened already. So it's like the reverse. And it's like, I think they did that on the cut days where they had the anglers come across and they interviewed them. Like, it's just.
Yeah. And I don't know. To me, I get it. They're trying to be a real sporting event where you can just turn it on, know exactly where everybody's at, know how much time's left on the clock, know the score. It's like turning into a baseball game or a basketball game in the middle. You can, like, in 20 seconds, you can understand like what's going, like what the context of the event is, right? So that's one of the things I like about the MLF format is the instant checking in and checking out. You just kind of like figure it out quick.
I did see the comment saying these announcers talk too much. I don't know if he was talking about us or if he was talking about JT and.
Well, they're getting paid to talk a lot. We're doing it for free, so they should be talking a lot because they're getting paid. That's one
thing that MLF doesn't do that Bass does, and this is personal preference, right? They don't really do like a lay of the lake thing. They don't say, "Oh, this guy's in Wolf Creek and this guy's up this river" or anything like that.
That is a very good point. That is one thing that Bass does really well, is kind of giving you a spatial update about like where people, like who's fishing next to each other, who ran 35 miles into another state and sitting in a weird creek. You know what I mean? It gives you a good idea of like the geolocation of everybody. That is true. MLF doesn't do that.
Yeah. The other thing is they don't have to run back. They fish to the final wire. So they can make a 40-mile run, and then they can fish right to the last minute and don't have to worry about getting back, which is interesting.
That is interesting. How many people? Oh, we got 114.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, things have been, like, we started kind of like 30, and all of a sudden it ramped up.
So is this is the number I'm seeing for community, like a total of everybody?
Both. So just on YouTube, there must be quite a few on Facebook or on your stream. So I think I only showing 63 on my YouTube, but 109 total.
I got 44 on mine. Cool. Hey, I'm happy there's one person watching, let alone 100. So thank you.
There you go. Josh S is firmly in the camp of catch, wait, and release.
So Josh is a guy I fish tournaments with, FYI. So if people are like, "Who's he's my my longtime fishing buddy." Him and I are in each other's boats a lot. The best part of MLF is the straight catch and release. You guys move south. Yeah. He's not wrong.
Anglers are getting helicopter to the expo.
What? See, that's what happens when you have billionaires behind your event, is you can bust out helicopters.
I don't know. It's a fine line for sure. Like the Bass Track helps keep you informed and gives you information, but then if you're a weigh-in kind of guy, it takes the suspense out of it. But then again, the Bass Track's never 100% accurate. So if it's a blowout like the Hank Cherry Classics, then it definitely takes the suspense out of it. But I think it actually added to the drama for this year's Classic.
No, I agree. I think this year's Classic was great. Like start to finish, it was entertaining. Went down to the wire. I had like no real complaints with the Classic this year. I thought it was like it was pretty damn good. It was better than the last couple ones. Like it was a really good one for sure. Bass did a great job with that last Classic. Well, I was going to make a comment. Someone said Tactical Bassin put out a great video on sun gear, and I think that's because Matt at Tactical Bassin had some skin cancer. Like because they were guiding out in California for years. We were out in the sun like every day, and I think Matt from Tactical Bassin had some melanoma. Like, you know, I had to have some stuff removed from his skin. So can I tell you a quick story? So I was out kayaking in Wisconsin last summer with my daughter. So there's a river where you can rent kayaks and they drive you up to one river and you kayak down. And this was right during COVID where mask mandates were like a big hot topic everywhere, you know? And I wore the same stuff I wear fishing out kayaking. So I had like long sleeves, I had my neck buff, I had my hat, my sunglasses, because you know I don't mess with skin cancer either. And I'm not joking. We're rowing down in Wisconsin. There's a group of bros and guys that were all tethered together on their inner tubes drinking beer. And I row past, and this guy goes, "Hey, you don't have to wear a mask outside." Like he was like giving me shit for wearing a neck buff covering my face. And I'm like, I pulled it down and I go, it's because I don't want skin cancer, not because of COVID. I'm like, what the fuck? Like these people are like.
So Travis Manson of Smallmouth Crush was yelling at you in Wisconsin, is what I heard.
That was him? Yeah, maybe.
He gets mad when people wear masks.
Well, I mean,
and it's
regardless of the mask debate, I was wearing the same stuff I wear fishing and covering up because we were kayaking in the sun for like an hour and a half. I'm covering up. But this guy's like, you don't have to wear a mask outside, bro. I'm like, shut up. You like, it was anyway. That's Wisconsin in a nutshell.
But regardless, like, why do you care?
Yeah, exactly. What does it matter to you?
Well, it doesn't matter if it makes somebody else comfortable or whatever.
Right.
Like whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
Why do you care and why are you saying anything?
See, the problem here, Rich, is you're using two things: common sense and logic, which is not applicable to everybody.
Yeah,
someone said you had a volume spike on
my dogs are freaking out.
Are you getting tackle delivered?
I don't know what's going on, so I'm muting when I'm not talking because I don't know how annoying it is for you guys.
I can hear it a little bit. It's not too bad. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I clicked over you. I'm wearing my neck buff for the sun. It's not a political thing.
Ray's giving us a breakdown here.
Parker and Welch and Duck Creek and Pine. Dude, Ray is locked in on this thing. I think he should be working for MLF covering this. He knows this lake. What kind of dogs do you have?
A coonhound and some kind of weird looking mutt thing.
Weird looking mutt thing. Coonhounds are loud.
Jeremy says he can't hear him. I do have what do they call it? A cardioid mic, which is directional. So It's not supposed to pick up. It's only supposed to be like right here.
So he's working a bridge here.
Well, motives for the spring. Were you the one that posted the thing that's like they were posting this thing about a new stroker bass boat that was like $100,000?
Yeah, I'm like, so Tactical Bassin, they don't normally drop gear guides unless it's around like holidays. And then all of a sudden they did all these spring ones. And I'm like, this seems a little suspect. Like they don't normally drop these gear guides. And then I made a joke about like, they must have some bills that are coming out because they get big giant checks for their tackle warehouse affiliation. And then so I didn't find this, but someone on Instagram messaged me like, oh yeah, they're getting a boat restoration done for like some super go fast boat. And they sent me a link. or no, they sent me a Facebook screenshot, and I was like, oh, it's because Matt from Tactical Basson's like having a boat restored. So they need a cash infusion. So they come out with gear guides. I don't know. It's pretty clever. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Bobby Lane's explaining his jig fishing. Do we want
He's rocking the docks here.
Should we see what?
In that last one, there's not anything else back there to fish. I mean, I could just spin my wheels back there, but where I'm going next, there's a bunch of shallow docks. There's a bunch of stuff in the water. You know, I got an hour and 15 minutes to pick it apart and try to put these boys out of their misery. That's what's going on, dog.
He's pumped up.
We are.
Bobby Lane's he's got some adrenaline going. You hear him?
Bobby Lane's getting ready to call his shot. He's like, I'm feeling it. I'm gonna go knock it out.
Well, you catch a 6-pounder off a dock and you go, okay, I know where other docks are. Like we're going hunting.
Well, it looks like Clausen's cranking this little rock jetty point. It looks like a spot that I fish on Winnebago over in Wisconsin spring tournaments, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like a nice spot. You got docks on both sides. There's probably a little flat to the left there. You know, coming around that corner.
Yeah.
The docks on this lake are so big.
Yeah, Josh, the 705 is still my main dock rod.
So are these docks that are out on these lakes, like, does one person put their stuff out, or are they like communal, like where they like rent space to other people in the area? I always wonder, like, because some of these docks seem way too big for like one individual to like fill up. You know what I mean? Like they got to be maybe community docks where, you know, you're paying for a slip space or something like that. I'm just curious.
Probably
Ray will know. Where's Ray? He's the expert.
I only saw a little bit of the Monroe tournament, not a lot of it.
Those dudes have more money in tackle than most guys have in their boats. Yeah, that's assuming they pay for much of their tackle.
He's talking about Tactical Bassin.
Oh, Tactical Bassin? Yeah, no, that's a good point. Private docks, yeah. Because I'm seeing some of these docks and they have like 5 slips, and I'm like, who's got 5 boats? Like they must be renting some of that space out or have like other people. You can have big docks and you don't have to pull them, yeah.
I guess I like the 705 for skipping, but that's like one of the shortest rods I own. Most of my other rods are all 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, with a few 7.8, 7.9. So I wouldn't say that I'm lean longer. Like I rarely ever throw a rod sub 7 foot.
I'm trying HOA docks. Okay, so HOA docks are going to be community. Like you can, you know, everybody can get a spot for their boat, part of their fees. Interesting. That's what I figured.
Yeah, they didn't catch a lot of them, but they caught bigs down there.
So I wonder what kind of crank he's throwing. It seems like flat-sided ones.
He used to be a Megabass guy. Is he still not a Megabass guy?
No, he's not a Megabass anymore. But it seems to be the common crank seems to be flat-siders from what I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, from the people that are talking about it or the ones that are sponsored, they're talking about Fritz sides and OG slims.
Right. So just like your average flat side.
Nope. I have never thrown or owned a Luz reel. I basically only have Shimano and Daiwa reels.
Yeah. So he's talking about Andy Montgomery. No, who is it? One of the Luz guys kind of helped them make a specific dock skipping reel that's basically just a regular Luz, but it's got the big spool, right? So not a lot of line capacity,
shallow spool.
Right. But they made one specifically for dock skipping and like shallow skipping. So I haven't tried it yet. People seem to like it though. I think it came out last year. It's not like new, but they're trying to make something that is comparable to like the SV.
Yeah, and then the SV is the one I use. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I see.
Speaking of reels, I am.
Hey, Shimano
IG yesterday to see if anybody wanted them. I'll probably throw them up on Facebook Marketplace if nobody wants them. But these are a couple of
Chronarch
CI4 pluses 150HG, which are the 7.6. And at the time, these were like the burner reels of the day.
Yeah,
like,
they're expensive too, weren't they? Aren't they like $260,
$270?
Yeah, okay. They weren't cheap when they came out.
So I think I posted I was going to sell them for 160.
That's a bargain. Right-handers. So if you guys want to buy
did you ever own one of these, Punch?
Not the CI4. I had some of the other Chronarchs, but I never sprung for the CI4s. They're too rich for my blood when it came out.
At the time.
Right.
Now. Not so
nowadays. No, dude, Chronarchs have always been solid. Like if you just need a good, slightly higher end reel, Chronarchs have always been a good bet. I'm kind of curious when Shimano's going to reboot the Chronarch and have a new version. I'd say probably in the next 2 years. Someone asked, okay, so you're selling some Chronarch CI4 pluses with the box for you want 160 per reel.
That was the plan.
So what's the price if someone buys both of them off you in one? Is there a hookup price if someone buys them both and you only have to go ship one box?
Sure, we could probably do 300 for the pair.
Oh, see, that's how you wheel and deal, people. Always offer a bulk price. All right. We got someone flipping trees. Is that Jordan Lee? Is that Jordan Lee all wrapped up like that? Yeah, it is. Look at Jordan Lee. You can't even. He apparently doesn't like the cold.
Yeah, but they're also trying to fish for active fish because this is a numbers game. You'll see guys. I feel like sometimes they'll slow down more in a 5-fish derby. But also, I think when you start to get 68 minutes left and you're down by 13 pounds, all of a sudden you start fishing fast. I like the DX745 a lot for half-ounce jigs, and I can skip with it. I just prefer the 705 when I'm skipping, a little more accurate, but I will use both. A lot of times I'll have a 3/8 on my 705 and a half-ounce on my 745.
I just find it bad. Just to me, it still is crazy that we're watching a group of guys. They have a 1 in 10 chance of getting over $500,000 in the next hour for catching.
It's
bass.
Isn't it like,
That's
is
just,
it,
to me,
I
it's
thought it was
crazy.
300. Is it not 300,000?
It's 300,000 for Red Crest.
Then why'd you say over $500,000?
Well, I'm sorry, $250,000. Sorry, over $250,000 is what I meant to say. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I can't imagine the nerves I would have right now going. Like that's some pretty freaking life-changing money for like as you're a tournament fisherman. Like the next couple of years to have a 300K bankroll, like you're paying some bills with that kind of cash.
Yeah. Tatula SV is my main skipping reel.
Yeah, I've been using the Tatula SV. Although I'm moving away from the Tatula SV because I feel like everybody uses it all the time. I'm gonna try some other reels this year.
I've only got one. It's just my skipping reel.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I got the Coastal SV, which is my frog reel, so I guess I have 2 SV reels. But
right.
But that's also like a little different. The Coastal is kind of unique. But
he's flipping a beaver. It looks like.
Yeah, he went to flipping about halfway through the second period, thinking that bite was going to go down. It doesn't seem to have really connected for him.
He's flipping laydowns. Ooh, that looks juicy ahead of him. You see that little whatever that tree that's sticking out across that? Like he's kind of covering it, but he's going to flip the crap out of that thing.
They did catch a lot of fish at the Red Crest in lacrosse. The one thing that I didn't like is that Evers smashed him and he found a pile of fish. But I would venture to say that a lot of those fish weren't, Wisconsin legal tournament bass. Like they were sub 14 inches or they were barely 14 inches. So
weight.
He probably would have weighed 10 pounds in a 5-fish tournament, but he weighed 80 pounds in the MLF. And it was just kind of interesting. Like he exploited fish for that format that wouldn't have really mattered in like a BFL. It's just interesting.
Yeah. He got onto a crazy school of 1-pounders and just whacked them.
Look at the expo. It's packed. I know, but it's just because they touted about how amazing this expo was.
I know, but to me, it's like if the product on the water is good and the tournament is good, I don't really care who goes to look at rods on a rack in a warehouse. The brands care. That's the thing. You and me, it doesn't matter. But these brands spend a lot of money to fly their people to these things and to bring a truck full of all their displays and shit. So they're going to be able to have some kind of metrics about how many. Because if you have a good marketing team and you're at a trade show, you are recording how many people come in, how many people like talk to you guys, like you're supposed to collect metrics around this, around like your booth activity. You know, if you're giving away stuff, you want to count how many people entered the contest, you know, the little fill these things out or whatever. So these brands will have a good idea of if the return on investment to go to this thing was worthwhile or not, and then they'll make a decision. So like, you know, next year, if all of a sudden Berkeley and Lawrence and St. Croix isn't at the Red Crest, then they decided, you know, the exposure wasn't worth the expense. I mean, it's a very binary yes or no question.
Yeah, but here's the thing. To me, it's the style, Gramps, right? They come out like they don't say we want to make this the biggest, most premium, or we intend to do, like, they just come out and like, this is going to be the biggest, this is the greatest, this is the, like, it's maybe it's semantics, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm being nitpicky, but it just, I don't like the vibe I get sometimes rubs me the wrong way from them.
I'm going to say, I noticed that you made your lights red for the Red Crest behind your background. I'm not going to let that go unnoticed. You changed your mood lighting to match the tournament. Clever. That's what happens when you have RGBs. You can set the mood.
Yeah, so I don't know. Do you have any interest in going up to the Mille Lacs tournament when MLF is there?
No. Got better shit to do. I'd rather mow my lawn than go to. I'd rather like mow my lawn or clean my gutters or do something productive than drive an hour north to like look at stuff I can look at online or whatever. No, I'm not the target audience for that kind of stuff. I don't really care that much.
I doubt that I will. I mean, I'll check it out. But if it's nice out, I'll probably just be out fishing myself. But
I will be absolutely watching the tournament. Like, I want to watch them out on Mille Lacs catching fish. Like, I will watch the tournament, but am I going to drive up to see it in person or go to whatever like displays they have? No, I'm not.
Oh, sorry.
But I will absolutely be interested in the tournament.
Right now, it's a Randall Tharp commercial, so I will try to get back to it, Gary. I'm sorry.
All right, so Gary's calling Dustin for the win here.
He's calling the repeat, the back-to-back.
That would be
the first ever back-to-back Red Crest champion.
Hey, think about that though. He's gonna clear. That would mean he's cleared over $600,000 in 2 years.
And he just won Lewis Smith, which was $100,000, I think.
So he's gonna be knocking on the door of a $1 million 2-year stretch for fishing. Like, that's sick. Like that's a good. It's a pretty good tax.
And it's going to largely be on the back of active target with a jerk bait.
So true.
Because I'm pretty sure I guess I didn't watch the coverage, but I'm assuming that's how he won Smith Lake as well.
Oh yeah. He was fishing brush piles with a jerk bait specifically, especially on the last day. That's all he did. He hit active brush piles. It was just getting the jerk bait to go right over the pile and getting them to come out.
That's how he won the Red Crest and you follow.
He's good at it. That's crazy. This is a good question. Haven't looked up the split. Are more of the all-time money winners fishing MLF? I'd say
I mean, but they won all their money with
right.
When they're with Bass, I mean, so like whatever.
But I mean, you'd think though that I think his question is, does MLF have more all-time money winners in its league now than Bass? And I think the answer has to be
yes. Here's the leader of the pack right here.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Mr. Van Dam himself. So I got a story. So like I was at Cabela's a little while back. Me and my wife had an afternoon kind of free, and we just popped into Cabela's because we were by it, and we're just looking around, and we were like looking at the sunglass rack. And this gal who was working the sunglasses, she's probably like mid-20s, like not fairly young. Anyway, she was like talking about the sunglasses, and I was looking at a pair of Oakleys, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's the kind that Kevin Van Dam uses." And I looked at her and I go, "How do you know who Kevin Van Dam is?" She goes, "Well, I work at Cabela's and Bass Pro. You kind of have to know who he is." I was surprised that like this mid-20s gal working a sunglass counter on a weekday had any idea who Kevin Van Dam was. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, that's true, Gramps. That would be a unique title for Clausen.
Oh, wait. If Clausen wins, he'd be the first to win the FLW. So he won a Forest Wood Cup?
Yep.
Okay, that is GOAT status. If you won the biggest championship across all three of those, that's pretty impressive. Now I'm kind of rooting for him then. So all right, Gramps, you gave me a reason to root for Clausen now because that's pretty good resume.
So I don't know if that was the heavy hitters or their first one, but he said he was literally the only person that went to their activation event and he got to meet them all.
That's nice. Hilarious. So when MLF first started the first year, Favorite and Guggens were like big sponsors of MLF the first year, right? And I heard a story that like Aaron Martins was walking around and had no line or anyone that wanted to meet him. But the line to meet like 2 or 3 guys from the Guggen squad was like down, like big long line to meet the Guggens. And Aaron Martin's just walking down the line of all these kids and everybody was willing to meet the Guggens. And like no one singled him out or waved at him or anything. So it was like, apparently that's how like some of the early MLF events were, like big lines to meet Guggens and no lines to meet like some of the GOATs.
It's just a testament to how tough it was.
Yeah, Aaron Martins was awesome. That's true, Gary. I think KBD actually won on Chickamauga last year, didn't he?
And you know,
yeah, Amart won one.
Whoever ends up
well, no, KBD won last year, I think. Chickamauga.
Did he? He won it. I don't remember.
Adaptations to these conditions each day. And what's really bothers me is they're
Wheeler was second, but I think KBD won. I think.
I think so.
Rusty says yes.
You know, one of the things that Marty and I have been talking.
The problem with listening to KVD is you have to listen to JT and Marty as well.
Dirty here, got real muddy there, did this, did that. But the fish, we didn't really see them.
Oh, are you talking about a cup event?
Or like no, it was a regular season BPT event.
Up there, you know, those fish come up to that old lake line right away. But what was strange is a lot of the water that was dirty, a little bit dirtier, got real clean. And I think the fish didn't feel comfortable and it just wasn't stable. You know, they know what time of year it is to come to the bank and it's just not, it goes more by the length of the day and the moons and that to bring these fish up. The time of year than the water temperature. We move faster than they do a lot of times, and that was absolutely the case for me this week.
You just said moon, and my little buddy over here. He just
Jacob Wheeler will pick in second.
He liked that.
I love that.
I'll pay you later. So we got a chance to watch history.
JT's all right. He's
he's funny.
It's a rarity that you ever get an
JT's sense of humor is.
I'd prefer to watch JT on his own, just doing his videos, like on his YouTube channel, than watch him though in this.
8-time AOY, 2-time.
I like
trio,
JT. He's got self-deprecating humor. Like he kind of makes fun of himself enough. Like you know what I mean. He doesn't take this very seriously, which I think is a.
He's going to be one of only 4 anglers in the history of the sport to do that. This one's done it twice.
Yeah, he's had just an incredible season. He's kicked off this.
We got to limit the amount of audio we put in here for copyright version.
Yeah, you don't want to play any music.
Yeah.
So,
the one thing though that's interesting, right? Like you guys, like Michael Neal and Zach Burge, who are both in the final 10 at Red Crest. Both of those guys are fishing all the Bassmaster Opens. Why would you be fishing all the Bassmaster Opens? What would you be trying to qualify for?
Right, exactly.
So it's not all, I don't know, butterflies and roses and candy and everything's nice at MLF for some reason. Why are so many people trying to like get back to the Elite Series?
No, for
I don't know. It's weird.
They're all businessmen. I mean, this is a business, right? Like they
I just saw a comment like people stay at MLF for the money, somebody said, but I was like, but not everybody's staying.
Not everybody's making money.
And it's like, they said, BP and Gerald left because they couldn't adapt to the style. But now you got guys that are like in the final of the biggest championship are also still trying to leave, which is weird. It makes you think there's more going on behind the scenes. It's not all duckies and bunnies.
Or they're degenerates and just want to fish every single tournament that they can squeeze into their schedule.
They want to go John Cox and try to fish everything.
Well, I mean, you got to think some of these guys don't want downtime. They just want to be on the water fishing tournaments.
Like John Cox had the option to fish all of them. He was qualified for all of them, and he chose to fish. And he had a successful BPT last year. Like he did well, and he chose to fish the elites and the pro circuit and skip out on the BPT. I'm pretty sure Burge, Neal, and there's another guy. the guy from Louisiana that runs the Gator Tracks boat.
I don't think
and there might be some others, but those guys are fishing the opens for sure.
Yeah, I think we're making an assumption they want to leave. I mean, you don't know, but they are fishing the opens.
They were skipping practice for the first stage event down in Darbone. They were missing BPT practice to fish an open.
That makes sense.
So
but also,
you don't fish opens to make money, right?
No,
it's terrible.
No. It's all you do is lose money. Yeah. Keith Pouchet.
Yes.
What are you saying?
There's probably some others, but those are the ones that I.
Oh, DC
can fish BT and pro circuit. So yes, there are several anglers. I know Justin Lucas.
Oh, a bunch of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are fishing both.
Yeah. A lot of them were allowed to drop down the pro circuit and fish, which is not great because most of at least 3 of them end up in the top 10 on every tournament.
It could be. They could be just trying to make the classic. That is a possibility, Rusty.
Right.
But there's people that know these people that say they're trying to qualify. Like they won't publicly come out and say it, but and maybe not all of them, but there are definitely some guys in MLF that are having success that are trying to qualify for the elites, which is an interesting thing to observe from the outside.
But also, you got one thing you have to remember is no matter who leaves the BPT, there are hundreds of guys in the pro circuit that would love to take their spot. So they will not have a problem restocking the shelves.
Which is the other thing that's weird is they keep seeming to change the rules and the point qualification structure for the guys they bring up from the pro circuit, which if I was in the pro circuit, I would be pissed.
There's a lot of boats around Edwin. Are those the locals?
Yeah. He's a big star in the Grand area, so that's not surprising that he has a lot of people watching him.
Yeah. He's got the most floats.
So just under an hour, Wheeler's got a 3-pound, not even a 2-pound, 6-ounce lead, which is basically almost a minimal scoreable bass between him and Connell.
This is literally all Edwin.
4-horse race unless something crazy happens.
This is all Edwin's been doing for the last 4 days is sitting on these offshore spots, staring at a screen, twitching a sinking jerkbait. He's thrown the stunner, which does a slow sink. So what I saw is he throws it out, lets it sink down to about the brush pile level, and then he brings it back through around the brush pile. So he's trying to get it eye level with the fish, and he kind of throws to the sides from what I can tell. But he lets that jerkbait get down there.
I do not want MLF to fail. It would be horrible for bass fishing for MLF to fail.
Right.
So I'm just being critiqued, but I will also make critiques of bass as well on certain things. But yeah.
Now,
if I have a buddy that's probably fishing it, Justin. He's a guide on Smith Mountain. What's his name? Can't remember his name. It's blanking at the moment. I fished with him last spring out on there. Smith Mountain is a fantastic lake. I really wish they don't have a lot of infrastructure. Like Roanoke's a little ways away, and the towns that are right there aren't great. But it'd be cool to see more tournaments go to Smith Mountain Lake.
Edwin's booking.
Edwin's waving.
He's going, I'm going to a different brush pile. Out of my way. So I don't know if it's controversial, but this is just my business opinion, is that MLF is going to burn money and do whatever it needs to do to devalue bass enough that they can acquire it. I think that's the long game for MLF, is that someday they will make an offer for bass that bass will have a very hard time turning down, and they will absorb it. Because you have to remember, MLF is backed by the Kroenke Media Group, which are billionaires. They own the LA Rams. They own NHL teams, the Nuggets. They own they own some premier soccer teams. My point is, MLF they have billionaire deep pockets in their backing them. And in any business war, right? Any company that goes against another company, the billionaires always win. Rarely do billionaires lose against millionaires. Do you know the company that owns Bass? Do you know what their bread and butter business is?
Fireworks.
Print media, printing. They make printing. They do print media like advertising. You think a company that does print media who owns bass is going to survive a war against the guys who own the LA Rams? Are you kidding me? So my point is, I will always bet on billionaires. And I think MLF, even if they're not more successful than bass to us in our perception, I think there's going to be a point where they're going to try to water down and devalue bass enough to make their acquisition price decent. And then they will scoop up and buy bass, and then they will kill it.
Yeah, we'll see. But the other thing is billionaires also get to be billionaires by making smart financial decisions.
Right.
And at some point they may decide that this isn't a great place. Like
the market's not
we'll see
what they thought. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but they've already put so much money into this and they've invested, like they might be pot committed to taking out bass at this point. Like, you know
I don't
what I
know
mean?
it'd be good for bass. I don't know if it's good for the sport for
No, I don't think so. But I think I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. And if you look at all historic wars in business, like companies versus companies, the end result is almost always mergers and acquisitions. Like M&A is just a likely end result. And I think right now bass is too valuable. And I think when they overlap events over bass and they try to water down and make bass a less appealing product to advertisers or whatever, I think their idea is drive that price down to where bass, they can throw a great offer.
But I think the problem is when they overlap, they're not watering down bass. They're watering down their own events. That's the problem with that right at the moment, I think.
But we don't have the numbers to show that either.
Right.
Like we don't know if that's what's happening.
But I think there's some good indicator, right? Like I think you look at things like the Expo is an indicator. You look at my fantasy fishing videos for Bassmaster get 2,000 to 3,000 views, and my fantasy fishing numbers for my videos for MLF get 200 to 300. Right? You talk to your friends that follow bass in general, right? They either watch both of them. There's not a lot of guys that only watch MLF that don't watch bass, but there's a lot of guys that can't stand MLF that, you know, so I mean, like, so I guess there are a lot of indicators in some of that stuff, but.
So someone said bass has better sponsors. That is not true. Bass has almost all bass industry sponsors. MLF is able to attract non-endemics, right? So MLF has, I would say, actually better sponsors than bass. Bass, where are the non-fishing companies sponsoring bass? There's none.
There's a few, but yeah, they're not.
Well, yeah, there's some manufacturing, maybe an insurance. My point is, just because MLF on paper looks like they're not as strong or as successful as bass, that does not mean they won't win the war.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Money is all that matters. And whoever has the most money typically wins. And bass doesn't have as much money as MLF.
I feel like the activity has lulled on the lake as Neil hooks up, but I feel like in general, like we had that hour. I feel like this last
is a dinker.
Be close. It might be a scoreable.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything out of Wheeler in a little bit.
But to Critical Gravy, yes, there is a MLF style format. It's called the Classic Bass Champions Tour. I have fished a couple events. I think I took third in one, and then made the championship. I don't know. So they're cool events. There's, for me, fundamentally a couple of problems with them. One is they have no off limits for information or practice.
Yeah, people team up.
And people team up. They get unlimited information. They go and practice for a week to 10 days. And where I am at in my life, I have about a day and a half or 2 days to practice. And here's the thing. In a 5-fish tournament, I am comfortable with flying into a tournament, getting a few hours of practice and winging it and figuring out how to catch 5 big ones in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just like figuring out the day of the tournament. In an every fish counts tournament, it's hard to compete against somebody that has 10 days on the lake and they've got unlimited spots. And the thing, like Minnesota, they school up in the summer. And if you don't have multiple areas with schools of fish, it's hard to compete. So for me, it's not a good fit. If they had limited information or limited practice, I would happily jump back in and fish those again.
You're not the only person I've heard talk about that with classic bass. Like, I've heard this, like a buddy of mine fished it last year, and he said that not only were people exchanging information, basically teaming up in practice, that in the tournament, if one of them won money and the other one didn't, they would split. So they would share pots. So they would not only like pooled together waypoints and information, they would pool together their winnings. So you're basically you're not teams, but you're teams.
So this is an interesting point. Back to your discussion about billionaires always winning.
Right.
So if billionaires always win and they have such deep pockets, why did they now start having them pay entry fees the last 2 seasons again?
It's a great question. Oh, that's a fair point.
We might have a guest joining us, a third pundit for the last 45 minutes here, or 30 minutes. So we should probably do the giveaway before we have this. Let's start that up. Let's tee that up. So again, if anybody's interested in the reel, send me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, if anybody wants these before I post them to the marketplace. But we're giving away the that's Burge. He's got some ground to make up.
Yeah, that's a good fish though.
But if he's a guy that can make a run, he's the kind of guy, again, being a local. We're going to go away the Arsenal Nikko Kit here in just a second. So we're going to do that. All right. So we're going to have, maybe wait till they go to the commercial break, because then we can kill the footage, but I'll get it teed up so it'll be ready. Let me work on that. Should we listen to a little bit of audio while we tee this up?
Yeah, we were thinking about earlier, though, it seems like that. It seems like when a guy finally lands on that little stretch, you can't not catch him. But then all of a sudden, it's like hitting a brick wall again. Look, even Wheeler has slowed down again.
He's just trying to make it interesting for everybody. He wants to make it interesting for all the fans.
But there is, I don't know what the payout structure is, but I assume that every one of these places is worth $1,000 or a couple $1,000.
Let me look it up.
Donated materials to it. $7,500 originally from Mossback Fish Habitat.
This is a question I just wanted to. I actually like that MLF goes to some of these more non-traditional lakes. That's actually an interesting point to me, is when they go to the Sharon Harris's and they go to, 40 boats on Mille Lacs much better fits Mille Lacs than 110 boat elite field. That's why they only had the AOI there, because like 100 boats on Mille Lacs really wouldn't be that great. So I think for me, it's an improved selling point.
Yeah. Yeah. If you only have 40 people out on a day, that gives you a lot more options for lakes.
I think they should lean into that.
Right.
Yeah. Sycamore, I'm actually traveling this week, so I'll probably move my stream to Thursday this week, but don't worry. If he starts to encroach on me, we'll have to fight it out with the bait man.
Oh, there goes Wheeler. He's on offshore spot.
Connell.
And I think we've got.
How do you really feel at it again?
Hey, I'm not mad at watching these guys fight it out for $300,000 in 45 minutes. I got
Yeah, Ryan. The economics. The thing is, like, bass fishing is not that big, and the margins for tournaments are not that fat. And it seems like the travel expenses of going out west kills it for these companies, to be honest. But I would like to see more Clear Lake, more Havasu, more those kind of things.
So it's gone quiet. He has
opened
the door
California.
for someone to catch him, but it has
There's
not
Wheeler
happened
hooked up
yet.
on his
Now he
ducket.
may add another.
It looked big.
He said it looked big on the active target.
No, not a big one.
Not a big one, but it is a scoreable.
No, that ain't going to be 2 pounds.
Not a scoreable even. I thought.
So, Rich,
Dang, it looked big.
Wheeler's rods. Do you know what the MSRP is without looking up?
I would guess 150.
You nailed it. $150 for his rods. He goes out there and smashes guys with $150 rods, and what do ducket reels cost? $180 reels and $150 rods. So he's out there.
Most pros are not rocking NRXs and GLXs and zillions and
no.
And stuff. Most guys are using
the budget or the mid-range
$200 to $300 combos. Yeah. A lot of it, $250 to somewhere in there.
But what I think is interesting is Wheeler specifically is like using pretty affordable equipment for pretty much most people. So I don't know, the hottest guy in fishing is kicking everybody's butt with $150 rods. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. Like anything over about $300 on a combo is a luxury.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a nicety. You don't need that to catch fish. You know, when you start to get under $200 for a combo, you're giving up some things. Can you still catch fish? For sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But all right, this seems like a good time to do the giveaway now.
Yeah, let's give away some goodies.
All right.
Your hound.
Hopper's excited. He's chiming in from upstairs.
Your hound is into it.
All right, so there it is.
While you're doing this, I'm gonna get another beer.
The Nikko Kit. Okay, we'll just make you go away. Nikko Kit. Hashtag Nikko Kit. Enter it in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, anywhere you're going to chat watching this, you should be able to enter it. I think it'll work regardless if you're on the Punch stream or this stream. Hashtag Nikko Kit will get you in the giveaway for a. There they're coming in now. Well, looky here. What do we have here? I'm going to remove this guy temporarily, and well, let's see. There's not a good way to. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't add. Who's this guy?
What's up, Rich?
Special guest. Have you been following the Red Crest at all?
I've actually been. My daughter wanted to go to Taco Warehouse.
Nice. That sounds like the second blessed warehouse ever.
Well, I've never heard of Taco Warehouse. I said, that's a great idea, Miss Entrepreneur. And I said, are you saying Taco Warehouse? And she knows, no, where they make waffles. She wanted to go to Waffle House. Yeah.
Nice.
And she ordered a cheeseburger. So we did that. And wife wanted to go wanted me to do errands while I was out. So, I had to get stuff for some vanilla pudding. So... Anyway, Here we are at watching Red Crest.
What is it?
And by the way, I didn't mean to stream on Top You Wednesday, but it's the only day that Pete is available, Mr. Pete Robbins from Bass. So I'll do it early. That way, we'll just migrate everybody over to HellaBass.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Thursday because I got to come back from Wisconsin on a work trip. So I think I'll probably just wait and do it Thursday. I'll just stream on top of Jig Squad instead.
That's fine.
He's a good. No, he usually starts around 7. I'll start around 8.
I'm always working usually when he's streaming, and I miss my buddy Eric. I need to call him sometime. Dude, Taco Warehouse does sound like an amazing concept for a restaurant, though. Like maybe I should take the TW logo and put a taco there just to see if I can get some traction.
So, what are your thoughts on Nico rigs? You a big fan?
Me? Yeah, man. That's actually a technique that I use a Nico rig probably over a wacky rig. There's just a lot more vertical structure where I fish, and I feel like Nico is very efficient for vertical cover.
They're not quite back. So there's 146 people watching. Only 62 are in. So we're going to give it just another few seconds here so we can go back to the when they're done with the commercial. So.
You sure you don't want to do any duck races and just blow the string
I don't
down?
think we have time. We want to catch the end of the Red Crest, so we got to make sure we finish it out.
So Kevin,
I don't want to scratch my screen by doing a duck race.
I have bad news, Kevin. TacoWarehouse.com is registered. Someone already grabbed that.
Oh, I'm not selling tacos on the internet. I feel like the sour cream might be a little rough by the time you got your tacos.
I know, but if you're going to start a business, you got to have a good domain. I think Taco Warehouse is pretty good.
Warehouse.
Did you follow any of the Red Crest leading up to today, even though you've been busy today?
Well, so here's my issue with the MLF sometimes. It always drags on all week, and I'll work a week, but this is really not too much different than a normal bass event. But I just haven't followed. I've tried to follow the expo because, usually cool stuff is leaked at like the Classic. So the Classic's becoming like it's big, if not bigger, than iCast for the bass fishing,
Mm-hmm.
But, man, there ain't nobody there. So I'm not seeing a lot of Instagram posts or stuff.
No.
I'm going to be real honest here. And look, I have friends that fish Major League Fishing. I have friends that fish bass. I think everybody that is at the professional level of fishing, which both these tiers are, should be able to make a living at it, whether that's by their earnings or if they're sponsors. I'm never going to hate on a guy making money. Now, I might disagree with how he's doing it or who he's affiliated with. That's just opinion. But I don't see this expo as doing anything good to help MLF. Like, I've seen doctored photos. I've seen, you can take a cell phone and you can take a little picture of a corner to make it look really crowded. But I've been to the expo center. I've been to the Chili Bowl, as they call it. This is the biggest indoor dirt race in the country. Kyle Larson's won it multiple times. Dude, they'll pack 20,000 people in there for 3 or 4 days. Dude, I don't even think there's 1,500 people. And all the posts I'm seeing is people that are either vendors, associated with vendors, or fishermen. I'm not seeing like random Bobby Dale or Timmy Joe like, hey, look, check me, Van Dam. It's now that's a big expo center, so I could also see where it's spaced out enough where maybe the crowd doesn't feel as big. So just to play devil's advocate, it's the first year they've really had it since the Red Crest. But
there you go.
I'm looking at this shot right here. Here's the outside. Here's some indoor stuff. Man, favorite rods should be loaded with 10 to 15-year-olds.
Speaking of doctored shots, they came back from a break when we were watching earlier, and it looked like it was super packed, but it was the registration line for the MLF college event, and it was all
a bunch of college kids in
jerseys lining up to get registered.
Yeah, that guy looks pretty bored there. He's trying to sell hats.
I mean, Favorite Rods is still a big brand, regardless of whether the Guggen squad and them aren't doing business.
They moved on from the Guggens like pretty quickly.
And look, are they a G Loomis? Are they a Daiwa? Are they a Mega Bass? Absolutely not. But dude, I'll tell you right now, if you like ducket rods, those ducket rods are $99, $120. You can get White Bird, they call it, for $40, and it's every bit as good. I mean, they make some great entry-level rods for beginning fishermen. I will not take that away from them.
And they're really good at marketing. Like you go to like a Dick's Sporting Goods or a shop that sells Favorite, their displays really stick out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their stuff looks cool versus anything like a St. Croix rack or I'm just saying like they have eye appeal.
Yeah, like a Loomis, St. Croix. I mean, even Dobbins. I mean, their marketing is put your hands in our rods and feel them. You're really going to like them. And to be honest, they don't have to spend a lot on marketing because there's so many anglers out there already using their stuff and have experience with it. Oh, we got a fish catch here.
Way up shallow.
Jordan's finally got his fish. We got a penalty.
Fish landing violation. 2-minute penalty. I got to say, I love the
Let's do the drawing quick. Let's do a drawing quick before we.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready? Who's going to win the Nikko Kit?
I wish I could figure out how to type back to chat. Like
dude,
one good thing about Nightbot, I can type to chat.
T-Boyle 2486. Are you here? Are you present? And if you are,
congrats, T.
Hit me up with usually people Instagram, DM me, or Facebook. If you don't have that, type in the chat and let me know. Look at him. Jay Lee's in timeout right now.
So Kevin, I just open up another window to the actual YouTube stream and I type into that because there's not another way to do it.
Okay. This is my Walmart internet connection.
And then you just got to make sure you mute that.
Yeah. Hit mute right away if you open up the stream.
Yeah, I got this thing hardwired, and some days, man, it goes great, and then other days, I don't know.
So, Rich, I was trying to look up the pay structure for the top 10 on this, and I looked at last year's results, and they don't list the dollar amounts on their own website.
Weird. That's really weird.
I'm having a hard time figuring out like what 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Like what are the payouts for the various places?
You get X amount of stock in Major League Fishing. That's how Boyd does it.
You get shares.
Right.
That's good. What's your shirt, Kevin? I'm curious.
It's just Justin Royal fishing shirt. I like Royal. He's a good friend of mine. So.
Oh, I noticed the skull. I'm like, that's pretty.
It's a pretty cool design, to be honest with you.
Haters only.
Yeah, man. So I'll try to support all those guys that are my friends in the community. I probably need to be a member to Rich's channel, if you come up with something cool, punch. I like to collect stuff. So
you and me both, my friend. Speaking of, I know you're into cards.
All right, he's here. Send me a note on Instagram or an email at rich@richlingard.com to get your Nikko kit.
That's a sick Nikko kit. So Connell is rocking these docks. It seems like the docks have become the thing in this last hour. Like guys are sniffing around the docks.
So, yeah, I think Grand really fishes a lot like Kentucky Lake. Like I know Zach Bird's really well, and he's told me kind of the same things. It's not really his home lake, but he does really, really good there. Dude. Again, here, fishing's changed so much. I've got to really learn to fish docks again because that seems to be where the bass like to hang out.
Yeah, Birch is low key got himself kind of like in striking position. He was pretty much out of it about an hour ago, and now he's only 2 or 3 good bites from getting in this thing.
Kevin, did you see that 6-pounder that Bobby Lane battled with through some cables?
I have not. Like I said, I've been busy this morning.
About 40 minutes ago, Bobby Lane hooked into a 6-pounder, but it got him wrapped up in all
6'3" over a cable back around. Like it was intense.
It was pretty dramatic.
I have a good Bobby Lane story. When he won the bass event here on Kentucky Lake
on a storm swim bait, right?
Yeah, just a cheap like power bait mullet or storm swim bait. He's literally driving down. He won south of the Paris Bridge. There's a red buoy. It's like the most obvious, like, hey, this is shallow water. He's driving down. 2 big gizzard shad come up, and all of a sudden, like a 5-pounder comes out, and he goes, huh. And he just turns around, throws a swim bait, catches an 8. And he goes, okay, I'll start here. That's all the practice he did. And no one, even the locals, did not even know what a mega school that was.
That's awesome.
And the dude don't even know how to read a depth finder. Like, after the tournament, he come up to Ben Parker and was like, man, I don't even know what this depth finder is showing. This is when side scan just kind of come out. And Ben was on top of that. He's like, I spent 2 days with him, and he still didn't understand what a bass looked like on there. He said, so for him, he said, that's just divine intervention for him to find one of the biggest schools of big bass on the lake. Just by luck.
Right place, right time, right?
I mean, when it's your time, and I guess stuff like that happens.
So, yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it happens, right? You just find the right school, the right time, and you find the right bait they want to eat, and shit just lines up perfectly.
That's a good point, Julian. You don't have to love every company that an angler works with to appreciate them.
And also, their brands change with the wind. Yeah. So why does that matter?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I know a lot of people have been hating on Wheeler. I think he's unreal fisherman. Like, you can say what you want to about forward facing. Birds.
He's fighting something.
He's making a move.
He's still around that same
that's
bridge.
A good one.
Oh, chartreuse.
Oh!
we all were like,
That's your all-state good hands moment right there.
So he was almost lost a nearly 4-pounder or took a 5-minute penalty all on the same.
Oh my gosh. Maybe need some gloves. Time to
Is
bust
that
out
what
the
got
glove.
him at 19 pounds? Is this an old catch? Because he was already at 19
If you look behind him, Rich, that's that rip wrap in the bridge. I'm guessing he was already fishing.
I know, but the score shows he went to 19, so I don't know if that was an old fish catch.
No, they haven't put that in yet. He's been at 19 for a while.
$500 difference. So he's doubled his money and may get more.
Yeah, he's making money, costing others money. And here he comes.
Costing others money. I like that.
Here comes Clausen.
He's 3-0.
Now, the winner did show up, Critical Gravy. I did see him type in the chat.
So, yeah, it looked like he was throwing a chartreuse crane of some sort.
So this is the part of MLF I do enjoy, that last hour when things are tight.
It's the best.
It's amazing. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of drama in bass. The drama would be better if you didn't know the weight. That's the differences in the format. This one's different. Whereas bass, once you know the weight, and you're like, okay, they're only fishing for, 1 bite. You can't really change a lot. Whereas this format, you get 3 or 4 bites in 10 minutes. It can change really quick.
Look, I put Brian behind the comment now.
Go ahead. Bump me down.
Ray appears to be a local from Tulsa because he's had a lot of good insight on the lake. So
Each angler in this tournament receives $6,000 just for competing. That does include the top 10. That's travel money right there, if that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, like the classic gives 10,000, right? So for every angler, but whatever.
What was it? I had a thought. I was going to say something. I just lost.
Gary's saying those are highlight catches. The score was already updated.
So Kevin, I mean,
that did not move Burge up anymore.
So Kevin, you're a sports fan. I know you are, but like to me, this is the best way to make bass fishing as close to watching like the final 2 minutes of a football game, right? Like, you know, a lot of people just tune in at the end to watch what happens for the outcome. A lot of people don't even watch the first half of games, right? Like especially like NBA or basketball games. Most people just tune in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is the only way you're going to get that kind of last minute excitement in fishing if you're doing it live with real time scoring.
Yeah, I mean, Bass Live's good. It was really good at the Classic this year, but my only gripe on Bass Live is I think the final day, I think it'd be even better if you didn't know what anybody had, just because the format's different. This format, I definitely want to know because you're counting more than one fish. And you'll see guys really change up their techniques in the last hour. See more guys throwing moving baits, stuff where they don't have to spend 2 or 3 minutes making a cast and bringing it in. And, you know, for a guy like Luke or Zach Burge, you can get 2 bites. If you get the right stretch quick enough, you'll get 2 or 3 bites real fast. So,
and the winner has contacted me on IG for all of you second chance hopefuls on the Nikko Kit.
Okay. All right. So we got 20 minutes. I want to hear people in chat. What's your predictions? Who's going to win? Let's call it now. Let's hear your. You got 20 minutes to pull.
Like you're asking for the final weight. Who's going to win?
No, I want to know. Yeah, who's your pick to win this thing with the last 20 minutes? Is Wheeler going to linger around with his 28 pounds, or is someone going to throw a Hail Mary here?
I think I'll be honest. I think Wheeler closes out. That's one thing I'll say about Wheeler. He's a closer.
Always be closing.
Or maybe like, who do you think's going to win, and who do you want to win?
I almost want to see Connell repeat. I think that'd be cool. And then someone said Clausen is about to hit the trifecta of winning a Forestwood, a Classic, and a Red Crest. If you can close that out, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I think he's the only angler in the field that could do that.
So, all right, I'm gonna say I want Luke Clausen. Let's give him the. They call it an EGOT in the entertainment world. We need to have a what's the acronym for the 3 in fishing? Someone come up with one. Oh, there's some rip.
Yeah, Burge is already moving on. He's got one off the rip rack.
This one should actually be one that can. Yeah,
Ooh,
looks like it'd be a 2.24.
Fatty. I'm gonna say 2.6.
Yeah, that's a big belly.
Burge won an event here years ago. A Strand cranking a bluegill color 25X 6 cents square bill.
Rich, can't you make a poll?
I'm working on it. It's just,
let's make a poll.
I'm going. The poll's gonna be who do you want to win, not who you think's gonna win. But
that works. So it looks like he's just throwing a square bill.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder which one.
I'm sure. I bet it's a Yozuri. That would be the sponsor's
2.3. Yeah, people in chat, if you can tell us the weights, because we're not listening to the audio, that's really helpful. So I guess that one was a 2.3.
Oh,
that's a dinker.
That ain't even a bass.
A white bass. Is that a white bass?
That's
the little drum.
Drum, yeah.
Yeah, old drummer boy. Dude, I'm telling you, there's been days on the lake, if we could have a drum tournament, I think my best 5 would break 100.
Did you catch him in the mouth?
Oh, yeah, dude. They just thump a football jig like you won't believe. Catch a lot of them on square bills, too.
That's a good point. Wheeler's hurting up people's feelings. Well, Connell, though, he's getting up there. Now, if he wins today, that'd be, like we said, back-to-back Red Crest and another BPT event. Like, it's impressive.
So one thing about Wheeler is I've noticed in the last year or two, there's this narrative of him being like a information spot stealer. I don't know anything about it, but I've noticed that like you have any kind of public thread or conversation about Wheeler where anybody can interject. There's almost always someone who throws in some comment about him, like riding other people's spots, or I don't know, just like him getting local information. It seems to be like every time now, like people are always bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is true. I mean, obviously, on the FLW tour years ago, it was pretty common. Everybody got help. And sometimes it was who got the best help. And Wheeler has a good system of homeboys around Indiana, and there's nothing wrong with that. Any of these pros that say they don't get help
right
are lying. I mean, there might be a few that don't get much help. Obviously, that's probably the old guard that's been to all these lakes. But I think Wheeler's fished enough different lakes and stuff now that he doesn't have to rely on help for anything.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of jealousy. I see him doing too many things, too many techniques, too many different. He wins in so many ways.
Yeah,
and you guys know. You guys have. I mean, you've gotten information, Kevin, right?
Oh, absolutely.
How often does it work out? Rarely ever does it work out.
So fishing other people's history or chasing other people's bites is usually a bad idea.
Correct. And, I've never been shy. Obviously I post baits and stuff and talk about Kentucky Lake. And when I first started streaming, I have some local guys, but, man, you can't be giving that stuff away and blah, blah, blah. Well, at the end of the day, how I fish a spinnerbait, a swim bait, a jig, maybe is probably totally different than anybody in this chat. And if I give you my waypoints, that does not guarantee you're going to catch. It's someone said it one time. It's really hard to catch another man's fish. It just is what it is.
Right.
Now,
so it's 42% Wheeler, 33% Connell, 21% Lane, and 4% pulling for Clausen from the chat.
That's about what I would have guessed.
I saw a good question asked, what will we be throwing? And I'm going to be really honest with you. These guys are all throwing about what I'd be square billing. I'd be pitching a finesse jig or something to shallow cover. I'd be trying to cover water around these docks. You might see a spinning rod with a Nico Rig, but right now, last 20 minutes, I'm covering water. I'd probably have a lipless on too, or a chatterbait.
You know what I've noticed is no chatterbaits between these guys. At least not the guys that have the cameras. I
think it's just a little too cold, right? We're still high 40s, low 50s. If it got 3-4 degrees warmer, I think you'd see that. I'm surprised you don't see more spinnerbaits. I think Clausen was, or no, Montgomery was maybe.
Yeah, Montgomery was up against the wood with a spinnerbait.
If Grand's anything like Kentucky Lake is right now, the weather looks very similar. I've got blue skies, I've got light wind, but we've had kind of a cold front come through. It's actually a tough condition day. That spinnerbait bite's going to be really tough.
So wait, this guy says now there's like no grass in this lake, right?
No.
Like not any. Like zero.
I think when Edwin won the Classic, didn't he kind of fish log jams and lay downs and stuff in a creek mouth? Kind of a staging area.
I don't know. I was listening to some of the guys on the first couple of days, and they were basically saying, like, yeah, this is a no grass lake. You have to fish any and all hard structure you can find.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to the question, I would probably be flat sides. And
I'd be throwing a crankbait. I would just put on some shiny crankbait and run around everywhere. That's all I would do. Or jerkbait. I would definitely.
I guess if I was more of a front-facing aficionado, then maybe a jerkbait. But for how I normally fish, and it would be a jig and I'd crank everything I can find with a flat side, and then when I saw something really juicy, I'd flip it with a jig.
Yeah, I don't think this is like astronaut science fishing right here. This is really basic pre-spawn fishing. You're seeing guys points. Obviously, there's wood cover. You see Bobby Lane fishing behind the docks.
Well, the thing is, like, Evers really leaned on the brush piles pretty much this whole tournament, and today they have not been putting him into position here. So, like, the offshore brush piles definitely don't seem to be in play right now.
I can tell you my BPT predictor weight is way off. I think I was thinking they were going to hit like 40 or 50 pounds, and that's not going to happen.
I think if it was the second day after a front, maybe the third day after, I think you would have seen a really good weight. We're supposed to get a warm front come through the Midwest.
So this spot Clausen's on right now looks juicy. Look at this. You got docks, you got 2 points, you got the wind pushing in on it. Like this spot looks good. Like I would not be able to drive past this spot. You know what I mean? Like that looks so good.
Somebody in chat is surprised you're not seeing more wiggleworts. I don't think Grand's just a wigglewort lake. It's a lot. It's vertical, but it's kind of like Kentucky. Like you got a lot of stuff that just flattens the way out. Like that point may be running out, and that boat may only be in 10 foot of water. I feel like those table rock style lakes are the better for a wart.
So with this Dustin Connell shot, I think I've seen the same jet ski dock 100 times. Whoever sells these jet ski docks must be making a killing on this lake because they seem to be like all over the place. They're so weird looking.
Or he keeps going back to it.
It could be fishing the same pocket back and forth. But those jet ski docks are so weird.
So 15 minutes to go. We got Wheeler with a 2-6 lead. So Connell and Lane are basically one Grand Lake keeper away from going ahead. And then Clausen needs like a 3.5, 4-pounder. And Burge needs 2 bites. It's pretty much a 5-horse race unless Evers, catches a couple of 5-pounders, right?
I mean, Grant's got big fish. I mean,
we saw that 6-pounder now.
Burge could catch an 8-pounder and be right there. It could happen.
Run the same water. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's that same jet ski dock that we saw. He's just gonna probably run the back of this pocket.
Well, he knows he needs 1 bite. He's going to the place where he thinks he can absolutely catch a 2.5, 3-pounder. My first derby should be mid to late April, hopefully. So,
if
in a month, there could be a first tourney video of the year.
If you get your boat, or are you going to go on someone else's boat?
I have a partner lined up that has a boat.
There you go.
I mean, it's cheaper now just to split gas with somebody. Let them make the payment, and you're like, yeah, I'll put $30 in your boat.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That's smart.
I don't know about the biggest bass of the tourney, but I think the biggest bass of the day is a 6-3 by Bobby Lane.
Look at that boathouse. That thing is.
I have Gramps. I have selected the boat.
It's Mountain Dew green, right?
It is not. It is not Mountain Dew green. It should be, but it's not.
Missed opportunity. You could have gone for a Mountain Dew sponsor.
There's always wraps if Mountain Dew. If you want to hit your boy up.
Mountain Dew sponsored a bunch of guys. Like Grigsby was sponsored by Mountain Dew for years.
Yeah.
And then it kind of killed off.
I'm more of a Diet Mountain Dew guy these days.
Me too.
Yeah, I would say the biggest change in my diet that's caused me to lose the most weight is going from regular Mountain Dew to diet. Nice. And no sugar in my drinks and drinking water, man.
It helps. I've always never
says Wheeler's had a 6-10. I think was that this morning or was that a different day? I don't know.
That couldn't. I don't know. That's a question. Swindle is still sponsored by Dew. He doesn't look to me like a guy who drinks Mountain Dew. He's in like too good a shape. Gerald.
Yeah, guys are in good shape. Guys sponsored by a lot of things that they don't use, so that's not.
That's a good point.
I think Swindle's been mountain.
Somebody going to catch one? Will somebody catch a fish that matters, or is it just going to end at 28:04?
12 minutes. It's crunch time, man. These guys, I can't imagine the pressure they're feeling right now. Like, you catch one fish, you're going to make $300,000 in the next 10 minutes. Like, that's. I
could spin that at Tackle Warehouse in 10 minutes, I promise you.
You're
just hit that Mega Bass button, one of everything.
All the Antares and all the.
Lane's hooked up.
Oh, come on, be a keeper.
Oh, this is going to be close. This is the drama we were talking about. He needs
scores.
He really needs 2.9.
He's right on Wheeler's
7 ounces to tie, 2.8 to go ahead.
Put the audio on.
Oh, wait. Dang it, I missed it.
One more.
Right, come on.
One more. Wasn't enough.
Lane gets within 6 ounces.
Whoa.
Minutes left.
Dude, a dink right here matters.
Well, it can't. It has to be 2 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
It was 2-1.
Snag a 2-pounder and a tail.
He needs another 2-pounder now. So it was like almost completely irrelevant. Well, and now he's still behind Connell. So you really gained nothing other than if Wheeler catches a 2-pounder, he only needs a 2.5 or whatever.
Dude,
right?
You can make a lot of casts in 10 minutes. Like, it's not out. I mean, you know what I mean?
I think we'll have the audio on for the last 11 minutes. That'll be a good policy.
Bobby Lane up to second place.
He's got another couple docks there.
He's got
a bird's nest. He's got to get the bird's nest
just
out.
Make himself like $10,000 by hopping over Canal if it stays this way, I guess. So
okay,
still not an irrelevant 2-pounder in that respect.
Have you guys done this in tournaments, like where you're fishing and you're on the crunch time of the tournament and you're trying to make some good casts before you got to go in and you bird's nest the shit out of your reel?
Hey, Tom makes a good point. He says, buy your Berkeley jigs now before they're sold out forever. So let me ask you this: will the winner of this event will know how much pull it has when you log on to Tackle Warehouse? If everything's not sold out by 7 o'clock this evening, then that'll tell me. Because at the Classic, as soon as Christie one, that spinnerbait, you could not get it anywhere. It's gone on Tackle Warehouse and take long for Omni to sell out.
Yep. Same with the
Big Jitsu.
The
His War Eagle jig?
No. This thing, the Big Bites Fighting Frog in the Tilapia Magic was gone before the Sante Cooper event was over.
I'm going to give you all a pro tip.
When Drew Cook won on it just last weekend.
Here's Wheeler.
Fighting Frog. You can get these, and TW may have, I don't know, Omnia. It's a 25-pack. That's how I buy them Fighting Frogs, dude. I hate to get off a tangent, but, man, I kind of was hoping Cook didn't win that because, dude, I catch a lot of big fish. I call it the angry beaver.
Yeah.
It's a good bait.
It's a good
I caught
color.
a couple key fish down in the Watchtower River on that.
You, Rich, you told me about those last year, and I bought a pack, and I do have some in my boat now.
What's really good about this bait is it swims really good. Like Rage Crawl has a really good action. This thing, it's different, but when it's swimming down the way, because it's got that beaver style body, it kind of has a glide down, but it's not a spiral. It goes straight down on it. Takes
Do you ever do you use it as a trailer?
This is Montgomery.
Do not use it as a
trailer.
trailer.
Isn't he? That's just a big one.
There's two sides. There's three sizes. There's a small one. There's a 5-inch one.
I think that fish is already in. I think that fish is already on Score Track. I think this is the fish that put him at 20.02.
Yeah, because that's a spinnerbait fish.
4 pounds, 3 ounces.
So otherwise, that fish would put him within a bite, but I think that one's already in Score Track at 4.3.
He gets within 8 pounds, 2 ounces.
If that fish would have been on top of the 20, it would have been interesting. But now he still needs 2 more 4-pounders with 8 minutes. That's a tall mountain.
But these guys are trying to up their pay scale a little bit.
We're going to catch an 8-pounder and be done with it.
Off this
can't happen. He is legit. I mean, like Montgomery is now a bite away. Like an 8-pounder is not crazy talk.
Dave, I see your question in the chat. Best water temp to throw top water, dude. Anytime it hits 55 degrees, I like a buzzbait from 55 to 65 degrees.
Oh, I think so.
Wheeler's on his magic brush pile, trying to ice it out. Literally, like you got 2 guys with 1 bass to win it, and Wheeler's like 1 bass from icing it.
So this is the fun thing is when you're sitting in the wind and you're trying to get because he's using active target. Active target's cone is thinner than Garmin's live scope. So like I've been in this position where you're facing the wind and you're trying to get your forward facing sonar to hit the structure. But like you also can't hit spot lock because then it moves it off. So you're sitting and feathering the trolling motor to keep your from the wind from pushing you off, but you're also trying to keep it in scanning in the right cone, and you're trying to make casts and work the bait. Like this is it's not fun.
Move back over to
and he's definitely not on spot lock. He's trying to watch his jerk bait and hold.
But you're trying to hit the gas on your trolling motor, or you put it at like a number 1 or number 2 and just hit continuous. You know what I mean? But yeah, keeping your cone in the right spot on that situation is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I see a lot of guys, and it happened yesterday on my Facebook, basically, well, those fish wouldn't be caught if it wasn't with active target or forward-facing sonar. And maybe there's some truth to that, but until you've been out in 15, 25-mile-an-hour winds where you're throwing an A-rig.
He's hooked up. Irrelevant. Might be getting himself some money, maybe move up a spot.
It's
a
tough.
Too late for this one.
Unless you're used to it, and Wheeler's really good at it, it's tough to keep that cone lined up.
Oh, dude, it's hard as hell. I go out in Wisconsin and I smallmouth fish offshore, like hitting rock piles and stuff. And if the wind's ripping, you got to point your boat into the wind so at least you can get that cone shooting out ahead of you. And then you got to sit and feather it and like try and get it in the sweet spot. It's not easy.
9th to 8th there.
In fact, it's kind of stressful, and it hurts your hips after a while.
No, someone said, Chris says, I think Evers has a separate system for line and his forward-facing sonar. Yeah, there's some stuff, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically like a separate mount that you deploy.
Wheeler's on the move with 6 minutes left. Well, this could be a little bit. I mean, it could be delayed.
Your transducer is basically on a swivel, so when you move your trolling motor, your transducer is still pointed where you wanted it to go. So
yeah, those are expensive, and some guys don't like that because if you're a bank burner and you just want to like spot stop. So I like having it on the trolling motor when I'm fishing in like 8 to 10 foot of water, kind of off the edge of the bank a little bit. Cause like you can literally just go down and just sweep with your foot and just don't make a cast until you spot something. That's what I do. Like when I'm fishing smallies, I call it smallie stalking, where I just drive around until I see something and then make a cast at it.
Thank you, Rusty, for that plug there.
Yeah, there's a couple different mounts out there. You can have it standalone. There are a couple really complicated ones where you can have like it sometimes works with your trolling motor and sometimes works independently.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that have really flopped today. Like Thrift really fell off the map. He had a hot morning, and then we haven't heard anything from Thrift in an hour.
Christy is running 2 live scopes. He's got one on his trolling motor and another one on a turret. So he can go back and forth with 2 separate dedicated monitors.
I did like Punch's IG story where he talked about, I think it was Evers. He was fishing active target, and then had the camera behind him where you can actually see his bait and the fish working. I'm surprised more people don't do that, or now everybody's going to do it.
So I had a couple guys message me that after I posted that, and they're like, "We were totally doing that already." Minky, Kyle Minky, Rich, Minky messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, we were doing that on the, that big Bass Pro $1 million thing or whatever."
Sure.
And he was on that and got on the TV show, and they did that where they put the screen up and then had the camera pointing, and he goes,
"Lane, set the hook. This matters right here."
Oh, this could be it.
You can hear the 12 people at the expo yelling, "Oh,
shit!" Yeah, if that's not a 2-pounder, that cost him because he
was
only
that
had
a
like
slight
a minute
touch, or was that a full touch? Was that a penalty?
Can't tell.
No way. Come on, we got to reweigh. 115.
Oh, with the 115.
And he's got to take a penalty.
He's going to reweigh it.
He gets 2 reways. Spit in it.
Dip it back in the water.
I know he's got a big chaw and just.
Ouch.
Oh.
Damn. $300,000 fish.
Well, hurry up and go sit down, bud. That 2-minute penalty is going to kill him.
No, it's 2 pounds. They got 2 pounds on the
wow. Wow.
That's nuts. That wasn't a penalty. They called it a slight touch, not a full touch.
Yeah, if the tail just graces it, they let it go.
Wow. A slight touch. I'll let my wife know that.
Not a penalty for a slight touch.
As fast as you can, Mr. Ghost.
Oh my God, that could be a $300,000 fish right there. It has to be, right? Unless Wheeler or DC pulls.
Man, I'm going.
Okay, here's Clausen.
Oh, dude, that's a good one.
Is it a 5-pounder? It needs to be a 4.5.
Ooh. Yeah, I was going to say about 3-1.
You can hear the crowd watching it.
This is great. This is great television.
Oh, it didn't 0. 4-2. Well, he takes the lead, doesn't he? No, he doesn't.
Come on
no.
now, what's going on?
The scale's not. He got to reset the scale.
Come on, Grandpa, get your shit together.
The other thing we don't know is like this could be like 3 minutes in the past, so he may have more time than.
Someone needs to put that freaking scale master in a penalty box.
Oh
shit! 4-2.
Under 2 minutes left.
That doesn't quite get him there. He's in second now, right?
That's a big payday. I mean, that moves him up thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's like $50,000. So
this is insane. Now this is drama, man.
What if this is all pre-recorded drama and this is not them actually fishing it?
Are you going conspiracy theory?
Yeah, man. What if it is?
How is there not a camera on Wheeler right now?
Exactly.
How do we not have quad box of like these 4 guys?
Do you think? Well, Wheeler was running. He pulled the motor.
I'm sure that was like.
Yeah, good question. Dude, that was crazy though. That lane fish, he weighed it twice.
Like 3 or 4 times.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the reweigh format. I do not like that.
But those are the rules they all agreed to, like as a group.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
I think there's some guys that.
Well, they can have 2 reweighs, and then they can ask for a scale change. One time during a day, they can say take out your other scale, but only once. So that's another rule people don't really flex too much.
You know what? At the end of the day, if you put your best 5 in the bag, the scales at the end don't lie.
Dude, he's still like the guy and the dog are sitting there watching him. I
hope that dog takes a big giant douche right there.
This is funny. This guy's like, "What are you doing out here?" "Oh, I'm trying to win $300,000 in the next 2 minutes."
Oh, absolutely, Gary. It'd be scrutinized. And not just the weigh-in, but the no penalty.
True.
Oh my God, I can't believe there's like that guy in the
I think the people that are watching it not on YouTube already know what happened because we're probably like 30 seconds behind. But
hello?
This is great.
Oh, watching MLF.
Bateman's talking to Bobby Lane live on the water right now.
Bobby called him. Just caught a fish with like 2 minutes left and stole it from Wheeler.
There's your expo shot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, and then Luke Clausen caught a 4.2 and it's like 3 ounces.
Dude, he's got to be sweating.
Are you kidding me?
He's got to be sweating.
Yeah, pretty crazy. All 50 people at the expo are really excited about it.
All 50 people.
Yeah. Hey, let me call you right back,
Look at that crowd shot. There was a couple hundred people in that wide crowd. Did you see that crowd shot? There was a couple hundred people.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Sorry, my guy that owns Lake X called. When he calls, I got to answer. Damn, dude.
It's official.
I've been at this a long time.
Big Fish Bobby Lane coming in clutch with a 2-pounder. How about that?
There you go. And it's this. How about that 6'3"? And he also did have like a 3-pounder that he tried to boat flip and broke his line earlier today.
Boat flips only, baby.
Oh, he's crying. Look at that. Oh, maybe not.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I ain't got a problem with the dude getting emotional. You know, people scrutinize Ike and Ellie. I love it.
Dude, if you're not emotional winning $300,000 live on the water,
dude, I get emotional when I open a JDM spinnerbait. Imagine winning $300,000.
I get emotional when I get some line.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
It was teetering between 115 and 2 ounces.
My question is: this the last Red Crest?
Unbelievable.
Did he win the one and the only?
I don't know, man.
There's three. There's three. Evers, Connell, and now Lane.
Lane, yeah.
So now Chris has got a classic, and Bobby's got a Red Crest.
That was pretty intense.
Didn't Bobby win the first
3 minutes?
Didn't Bobby win the first ever the cup, like their old championship, their cup championship?
I think that's true.
Down in Louisiana, throwing a wacky rig or something.
Super shallow. I started plucking away, and there they were. From a 6'3". Are you kidding me? On the championship day, I catch a 6-pound, 3-ounce bass. Right before that, I catch a 3-pound, 11-ounce. I try to boat flip a 315 and lose it. That's going through my head all day. I said, Bobby, put that behind you. You got the winning fish in front of you. You fish hard, and you make every single flip count. And when one bites it, you set with all your might. My mom, my dad, brothers, God, I love you. You're the reason I'm here today.
Dogs are pumped.
Copper's excited about Bobby Lane winning.
Hey, I like Bobby Lane. I think he's a good dude.
Is it just me, or does he look like Oh, never mind.
It's not official till you sign your score sheet.
Imagine that. It'd be like NASCAR, and you'd be allotted the scales. We forgot to sign his score sheet.
My last major win, it was a Bassmaster Elite Series on Kentucky Lake. I
won
some cup events. I won the World Championship. This is as good as it gets.
White power. Oops,
Bobby's an easy guy. I like Bobby. He's easy. I'm kind of happy to see him win.
Please don't cancel this stream, YouTube. That was a joke.
Bateman's trying to get me shadow banned. He's trying to take me down.
Okay, let's see it. Here it is. He had to get it over the cable.
Oh, I didn't notice the cable the first time.
Yeah. Up and over the cable. Let's see. Roll replay. Does it touch? Does it touch the carpet? I can't see it. It's down by the feet.
It might have touched the official.
Here's the problem: we're only getting that one camera angle. They don't have multiple angles like in a football game.
All right, we gotta.
That's all the footage you get of that fish where it went. Who knows if it hit the floor or not?
I'm not gonna lie. That last 30 minutes in a close event on MLF It's freaking amazing.
That was great. We were all freaking out. I was like, ah.
But it's the 4.5, 6 days of the event on a normal BBT leading up to that. That's just like,
fair.
I'd rather watch video games with my kids.
He'd rather watch the HellaBass stream.
So when he scaled it, it was 1.15, 1 pound 15, and then it was 115, and then the second one it creeped into 2.
It was the second or third weigh-in that he hit 2.
That's crazy.
So if you guys aren't in my Discord, I'm gonna shout out Largemouth Bass. He's in. His name's Ellen Bass. I like the Discord. I'd like to see more action in it. There's a link in my YouTube description. But he says, I disagree with everyone. Apparently, MLF is exciting as hell. The show kind of sucks with all the ads and announcers. The competition's 10 out of 10. I kind of agree with that. I mean, I like MLF. I think there's some changes that could make it more exciting. But, dude, they do have stout competition. Anybody can win at any time. I know Wheeler is head and shoulders above everyone, it seems. But right there, if you would have asked me if Bobby Lane would have won Red Crest a week ago, I said, unless they're on beds, not a chance in hell. And dude pulled it out, grinded, and pulled it out. And dude, it's exciting, you know. Well, the real downer of the week is the expo. Let's just be honest. Not the fishing, but the expo was the downer.
You know, I think if you watched the previous days of the tournament, it looked like Edwin had it figured out. Like, his first couple of days were so good. He had it kind of dialed in. You know, it seemed like he could kind of catch him at will. And then he had a good morning today and then just, like, vanished. Like, I think if anybody, it was kicking themselves on not winning this thing. It was probably Evers.
I just put the Discord invite in the chat.
Thanks, bud.
I'm in the Discord too. I was like, because I used to do some Discord stuff for other stuff, and I was like, I should make a Discord. And then Bateman beat me to it, and I was like, I'm just going to join.
Yeah, Bateman's I don't want Discord. It to really be like.
Everybody should just have one.
I just want a fishing Discord community, you know, for HellaBass, Punch, anybody that wants to join. We'll just talk baits and.
But we don't need 47 Discord communities, so let's just all hop in Bateman's.
Discord.
I do think it'd be interesting to see what Wheeler says about the reweighs when he does his recap. That'll be interesting.
Do you think he's gonna? I mean, he would have done the same thing. He would have reweighted 100 times. You know what I mean?
Hey, we got people jumping in here. Thank you, Gramps, Ivan, and I'm gonna sell a lot of my tackle that I don't need through Discord. So
nice.
That way, if you don't buy it off there, I'll have to go to the Facebook, Instagram.
I put those reels up there first, so if you were in Discord, you would have got first crack at these reels.
Did you sell them yet?
I don't think so.
Dude,
all right, those Dobbin Savvies, those went quick that I sold.
So, I got to link you. There's a really good Shimano buy-sell group on Facebook that's very specific to Shimanos, and people scoop stuff up in there.
Yeah,
except
I just wanted to give it. I wanted to give people that follow me.
Yeah, I want to give all the Discord guys first chance. You know what I mean? Probably if I'm selling stuff, it's going to go to my YouTube members. Hey, here's what I got. It's on you. Then they say no. I'm going to Discord with it. After that, it's just going to be open game.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, Kevin. I asked this to Rich, but he didn't know. I've been like on this kick of like collecting vintage patches like lately.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what this is? Like, what is
US Bass is US Bass used to be a team touring event, kind of like Redman back in the day. So that's what US Bass is. I think it's mostly a Western circuit. If you remember the US Open, Lake Havasu, I think that's kind of where US Bass roots are.
So I like troll eBay for stuff all the time, and I saw this patch pop up, and I love the red, white, and blue. And I just thought it looked a badass. So I'm like, I'm buying that, even though I had no idea what it is. So it was a team tour. Interesting. Now I know.
Someone says, what is Discord? Discord is basically like a message, a real-time message board. So if I post something, it pops up like a chat.
So Discord is very heavily used in the gaming community and actually started out in the video game world. So Discords are each person's Discord is a server, and then like anybody can go make a Discord, and it's inside the Discord you can have many different types of chat rooms. You can have bots, you can have scripts, you can have things that do monitors. Tons of people use Discord for like gaming, Twitch streams, drops, like people who are like buying and selling video cards, sports cards, anything where there's like hyped drops. You can have like monitors watching stores when they restock, and everyone into Discord gets a message. And like Discords are kind of like very malleable like chat rooms. You can make it do all sorts of crazy stuff. But essentially it's a chat platform.
And they have good voice features if you like to hang out and chat and voice. And that's what a lot of the gamers use it. That they'll get on and play on a server, and they'll use Discord for their voice instead of the in-game voice. But
yeah, I'm on a couple Discords for non-fishing related stuff. It's like Slack. If you guys use Slack, Discord is like a competitor to Slack. Slack is more for business use and like work, whereas Discord is more for like fun.
Man, Mother Nature's calling me. I'm probably going to jump up. I'm probably going to stream about 7 o'clock tonight. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I really need to get Eric on and do a cranking show, but I don't want to do an MLF discussion yet because I have a Randy video coming tomorrow about the expo.
A Randy video? Oh, are you going to complain about stuff?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
A Randy.
I don't drive while I'm doing those. I just sit in my.
Oh, he did another one today where he's driving somewhere, and it's in the thumbnail. Like, he put in a thumbnail that he's like, I'm driving to this place, and I'm recording a video. That drives me fucking up.
Yeah, I actually like Randy. I know I might say some stuff. And obviously, look, man, it's YouTube. If a topic's trending and hot, if you want some traction, you gotta, beat that drum a little bit. So that was kind of really this reason for the $10 jig video. But I brought some fair points to the table.
I have zero problem with Randy. I don't care what he does in his channel or what he says. I don't like when people create content while putting other people at risk on an open road.
Yeah, y'all don't see this meth lab back here. I keep it out of it. I'm just kidding.
You don't see the child labor factory? I don't know. Shooting videos while you're driving and you're a 60-year-old man is not a recipe for success.
Anyway, I am going to jump off here because it's going to be bad if I keep sitting here. I'll be back. I'll be back tonight. You guys are more welcome to jump in the stream. I'll probably talk about baits. I think I'll talk some jerk bait. So thank you. Thank you for the invite. That was a great finish.
That was fun. Yeah, that was good. I like how it
that was exciting. It was worth it. I didn't hear about the ref being Bobby's buddy.
News to me. That's insider knowledge that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap things up here. They're going to have like some kind of live show, like a stage where they're going to helicopter, but like it almost seems like, to your point earlier, Brian, like the opposite of what the Classic did. This is also going to be pointless now. Like, who's going to watch this?
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to. I'm going to go catch up on all the stuff I need to do around the house that I've been ignoring all day.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, this is fun, man. We still have 100 people on. That's crazy.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know, anything else? So we got the Nico Kit is one claimed. The reels are still available. It was fun hanging out. I think so. Baitman's going to stream tonight and Wednesday night. I'll probably come back and stream Thursday. I got to think of a topic and maybe a guest for Thursday.
So I will say, I'll say that like doing the Classic where we're doing like a live watch and then doing a live watch on this Red Crest, there absolutely is an audience for this. I think this is like a format like that is ripe for the picking. I mean, just, I mean, I think there's definitely people who want to sit and hang out and watch the finishes to some of these tournaments, right? Like, I think there's something here where we should do this more often.
What jig are we talking about, Backlash Pro? Did I miss something? What jig? Did I hold up a jig? Yeah, no problem, Gary. Thanks for joining. Jig, Backlash?
I mean, the thing is, if we're all sitting around watching this anyways, why not all sit around and bullshit together?
That's the nice thing is like, because then when whether it's the Classic or an elite event or whatever, right? Or when they go to commercial, then we can just pause the commercial and have a side chat and not watch the same commercial that's played 37 times that day, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, we can take comments.
Or when they went into a lull, right, where nobody caught a fish for 45 minutes, then we got something to do. We just keep on it in the background, but it's like, so Bobby was using a jig. I'm sure they're going to say it's a Berkeley power bait jig, whether it was or not.
100%.
They did have some good drone footage in this event.
Oh yeah, MLF is great with the drones. They always have good drone footage. Yeah, it seemed like today the shallow bite is what won it. Like Bobby up on the bank was what, I mean, you can't say.
Yeah, the jerkbait guys, Wheeler and Connell, got out to an early lead, and then it was the jig shallow crack spinnerbait that kind of ran them down in the end.
Right. And then the square bill seemed to win some guys some extra money today too. Yeah, the shallow guys prevailed.
I have never seen MLF do anything post tournament. I feel like they let the refs do their job in the boat, and because there's been a lot of things like suspect with. I remember that catch on fork with what's this guy? I can't think of his name now.
There was something about recatching the same fish, right?
Well, it was like, was it a sight fish? Was it not a sight fish? It was hooked outside of the mouth. It was Sprague, Jeff Sprague, right. And I've never seen him do anything. And then there was a thing when the MLF. I know there's been a couple things. I've never seen them go against their refs.
Yeah. And the oh, that's funny. Yeah. Abu came out with a new high-end spinning reel. I saw that spinning reel at the Northwest Board Show, and it does not look and or feel like a $500 spinning reel. I was kind of off-put by it, to be honest. So if Abu wants to send me one to play with and review, I would happily do that, but there's no way in hell I'm paying for one with my own money. Not going to happen.
I have a real video this week, but it's not high end.
SLX, dude, those things sell like crazy.
My video will be why you shouldn't waste $100 on an SLX reel.
Oh, hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot takes.
No, SLX is so good. I got a hit with those things. So I will say though, with that Bobby Lane catch where he boat flipped it, if you notice the fish went behind the ref, because I watched that clip again. The fish kind of went behind the ref, and he's kind of like this bigger, older dude. He just kind of looked over, and then the cameraman didn't get down fast enough to see where that fish touched. So like you'll never have footage that will say.
And it was also his best friend, apparently.
Well, you know what I mean? No, you're never going to have, unless they had a drone watching them, like you're never going to have good enough footage to prove that fish should have caused a penalty, right? But wouldn't it matter anyways? Because the fish ended up scoring because of the reways.
So it was about as controversial as a catch as it could be, to be honest. Like, right? It was like his buddy. Did it touch anything? Did it touch the carpet? And then it was reweighed 3 times.
Right. Hey, I'm all about if it's within the rules. Great. If you don't like it, change the rules. Like it doesn't matter what sport it is. I'm a rule guy. So if you're doing what you're doing within the rules and people don't like it, but you're not breaking any rules, change the rules. You know what I mean? So if everything he did was within MLF's rules, then he's the winner. That's it. End of story.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way. I mean, I guess it's like, should $300,000 be decided by a $40 scale? I don't know.
Well, those scales they use are really expensive. You ever looked them up?
$100 or whatever.
Yeah, they're a fairly expensive scale. They sell them on Tackle Warehouse, I believe. Yeah, I think they're about $100. Like they're not cheap scales.
Yeah, I don't want to do the Travis Manson auction. That's not my thing.
Travis with his auctions. I like how he does his auctions, but he only does it to his Patreon members. So you got to pay him money to then buy his stuff and pay him more money. That cracks me up.
And it always seems like an absolute, pardon my French, a shit show. Like there's people bidding and they like the chat lags, and then it's just like
I've watched one of them and I'm like, yep, never again. Travis is a goofball, anyways. I expect nothing less than chaos from Mr. Manson, whatever his name is.
All right, that seems like a good wrap up point. People are
man, this is fun.
Off. Thanks for everybody. Probably throw this replay out. People can watch it. You can relive the moment with all of us as Bobby Lane hoists the Red Crests.
We had some oohs and ahs, and we freaked out a little bit. That was fun. Now we can go watch I'm gonna go and do some chores around the house and watch the NCAA tournament now.
There you go.
All right, man. This is fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks everybody. As always, here to help you guys catch more big bass and suck less.